What's up, guys? Studfit here, joined by my good friends for the episode 1 of season 3. We're literally kicking off season 3. So we're having so many of my awesome members hitting 2 years as their awesome membership, including Jeeves and also Frenzy fans. So I had to kick it off to you guys first. It's been a while. How are you guys doing? How are you guys feeling?
You guys go first.
Oh, Frenzy fans, he's kicking off too. What a gentleman. What a gentleman.
Yeah.
So good. It's good to be back. It's been kind of a crazy summer and schedules lined up for coming on tonight. And so we're excited, especially since over the next little while, we're not going to be able to. And so, yeah, we got to get our Kart talk in, our fill of Studfit in. And so, yeah, this is going to be good. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think we're going to be home for like 1 week over the next 3 months. So we're like, we have to do it now. We're going to make this happen.
I was going to say, it's a good thing there's this next tour is not a Bowser tour, because that's what happened your last, wasn't it your birthday tour last year? It was, which is coming up here. Yeah, it wasn't a Bowser tour. You guys were doing all kinds of traveling at the same time.
Moving.
We're like moving, yeah.
We had to move across 3 states, and yeah, it was a Bowser tour. I think it was a tour after my birthday tour. I think it was your birthday tour.
Well, my birthday comes after yours, so.
Like I said.
Oh yeah.
Happy early birthday to Frenzy fan guy.
I like inverted that.
Thanks for confirming.
You're welcome. Yeah. Anyways, this coming up tour though, this vacation tour is Frenzy Fanboy's tour, and he's. Are you excited about it?
I'm not. I don't know. It's not really moving the needle. Like, I guess I didn't really anticipate like driving around a huge, ginormous like bathtub as like what I was going to be doing for my birthday this year. So I'm not really want to take baths.
Oh, really?
I do shower. I'm just not a bath guy.
Okay. Maybe we should do like a raise of hands. Is anyone a bath person? Like, you love baths, like bubble baths, lathering
I have
baths,
to shower before I bathe.
bath
I think it's
bombs.
gross, but yes.
Okay. I'm definitely a shower person myself, but I'm with you there. I mean, I think like we'll hold on. We'll get to all that. But happy early birthday to Frenzy fan guy, and also later on Frenzy fan girl. If we don't have you back on, happy birthday to you guys. But again, it seems like just whenever you guys are busy, that's when like there's a Bowser tour. So thankfully there's no Bowser tour next tour, because it sounds like you guys are pretty busy. Happy to have you guys back on tonight. And then, geez, welcome back, sir. How are you doing?
I'm okay. It's Friday. Well, and I think when people see this, it'll be Saturday, but just plugging away. Kind of taking a breather from the game. I've never had this kind of a downtime. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to get my passion back a little bit. But always happy to see friends like you guys. So
We'll pick you back up. I know it's a lot of people in the community are could be struggling, but ultimately
it's an interesting time. I think it's definitely an interesting time.
Well, I mentioned a couple tours ago, like it's a different season. It's like it definitely feels very different, kind of cutting off. But overall, I mean, I think that I'm excited to continue doing this channel. I'm excited to continue Kart Talk, and obviously thank you to all the members who have supported us and helped us along the way. I do have I don't want to spoil it, but we have a guest joining us in probably about 40 minutes or so, would be my expectations. But in the meantime, we have 2 people who have never joined Kart Talk before. So I want to introduce you to both Davey and Dojeree, which probably I should have separated you guys so we both didn't have like D, so it could have been like a little bit more less confusing for you guys. But we'll start with Davey. Davey, tell us a little bit about how you got started at Mario Kart Tour, what you enjoy the most about the game, and really anything you want to mention about kind of your experience with Mario Kart Tour.
Yeah, sure. So I'm not a day one player, but I started playing probably the 4th or 5th tour back in 2019. I think it was right around the time when I got a new phone and was looking for, I'd never played any mobile games before, but I thought maybe I should check this out. And so started searching around for Nintendo and came across Mario Kart Tour. So I was like, might as well check this out. Started playing and kind of wasn't sure what I was doing at first, but got hooked a little while after that and started watching some of those YouTube videos back in the day from the early community, and got pretty engaged going forward. Pretty much I'm a more or less gold pass player. So got connected with the gold pass probably a few tours after I started, stuck with it since then. So I've kind of a big strategy guy. So that's one of the things that drew me to the game, and liking to, I guess early days, nobody knew what to invest in or what was good. And there was no such thing as a, hit box size back then that really mattered. So it was just trying to figure out where to go in the game. And once spreadsheets became a thing, I started getting involved in that and trying to level up my game a bit. And that's kind of what's kept me involved and trying to figure out each tour how best to strategize and optimize to try to move forward. I'm not one of the top skill players, so I have to find ways to compensate for that with the investments. So that's what's kept me involved, and being involved in seeing the community and trying to engage with the community as well. That's one of those things that helps keep me moving forward.
Nice.
Engagement with the community is my number one suggestion for sure for anyone, and certainly appreciate you joining in and kind of jumping into a lot of our conversations here lately. And I just asked you before we started, like, what was your favorite investment? And your big investment group. I would say that we're all probably, I don't want to speak for Dogery, but I think we're all kind of like B+ players when it comes to skill. Like, at least I can speak for myself. As just a leader of VR, I don't even consider myself a great player. I definitely play it a lot, but like not like the best. I've seen some players who just like get every action, hit every jump boost, and sometimes I feel like I'm playing with smart steering off. Like I'm like, somehow I'm like, oh, this is like somewhat just as bad, but just different, because I'm like not skilled. So you're with Equal Company, and appreciate your time. But what is your favorite investment? As I just alluded to,
I'd probably go with Wonderful Wings or Yellow Off-Roader, just to probably cliche answers, but they definitely carried me pretty far last year.
Man, I can't tell you. That's what's great about the algorithm, and like even Frenzy fans had Wonderful Wings and a lot of their top investments for the most valuable investments. And so I think a lot of players had that at a high level and were crushing it. It was in ranked, seemed like every week. I think it was definitely at the top of their list when they were running through that at a high clip last year. So appreciate Frenzy fans on you guys getting out that data. That complements what we're doing on the futuristic prediction models. It's always good to kind of look back and retrospectively look at like what's been ranked in as well. And Wonderful Wings was a great glider last tour, and it's even fun kind of using both of them this tour for All Cup ranking. At least it's been a while since we've seen Wonderful Wings in ranked, but that's okay for all of us All Cup ranking players. I'm still using it all the time. And then we have Dogery calling from Chile. How are you doing, sir? Tell us a little bit about your experience with Mario Kart Tour. Anything you want to add about your experience with Mario Kart, the franchise, and anything else you think would be important for players to know about you as a player?
Yes, from South America, so I'm part of the community that feels a bit left out by Tour. Yeah, we haven't gotten our city yet. Yeah, and I'm rooting for Rio de Janeiro.
Yep. Rio de Janeiro. Yeah, love that.
When I was little, I was playing Mario Kart 64. I had a lot of fun back then. Then I grew up a bit and moved to Mario Kart Wii. I was really good at multiplayer. Fast forward to when Tour came out. I think this might be funny, but I missed out on the first 2 tours. I had no idea the game was coming out, really. It's kind of funny. At the time, as well, I was doing my first summer job, and I was thinking what to study, so I had no plan on games.
Nice.
I'd say between 2019 and 2022, I quitted the game
Ah,
around 2 or 4 times due to bad pipe pulls. Yeah, I
Oh,
did not
man.
like to not get what I wanted. So I'm really happy that the system changed.
Okay. Okay, good.
Uh, my first pack was Trolley Card, and around this time, I made the investment of Rosalina Aurora, which I regret a lot. So the last time I came back to play Mario Kart Tour, I had the amazing idea of browsing Reddit. Then
Yeah. Okay.
at this time, I was really looking forward to really be good at the game and tear up. I saw this top 10 card post, and I clicked on it out of curiosity, and it said Yellow Brother. So I invested in it, and it was a massive payoff. It was insane.
Mhm.
I won a lot of tiers, rank ups, and I realized that I really like the game analytically. I really like thinking about it long term. So I don't think I will be quitting anymore Mario Kart.
Nice.
Yes,
Uh,
we like it.
Around April of this year, I started using MKT Toolbox. Shout out to the creator. Amazing tool.
Sam78IT, we love Sam.
I really like it because it's let me think a long-term future, and it's really good for tearing up. I started using Gold Pass 3 months ago because I am committing for tier 80. I want the best driver in the game.
Yes.
I really want it to start the next year. That's my challenge right now.
Nice.
Awesome, man.
Magic
What-
80.
No, that's an awesome story. I think one of my favorite parts about doing Car Talk is just having people from different walks of life, having people from different experiences in the game. Some people, COVID players, pandemic players, some people coming from the Mario Kart Tour, and basically kind of walking through every series. Some people kind of have quit the game and walked back. Some people that are just like found out about us through Reddit. Some of us who found us about through Discord. Some of us found out about through Reddit, through YouTube. But ultimately, like once we get hooked, we're all hooked, and that's what's great. That's what connects us all, no matter what path you came from. Reddit's certainly a double-edged sword. I post all my content through Reddit, but I try not to look at too many of the comments because sometimes they're like, it could be seen as negative. But ultimately, I think most of the people just appreciate that people are bringing value, and so I think when people are getting like, depending on the comment, depends on the post, but like if the post is just like super, I don't know, self-serving, then people like just completely obliterate those people and make fun of them. But like most of the stuff I post, like people have been pretty supportive. So I'm glad that you got reintroduced to the game and you invested in the yellow off-roader. It's been a great card for last year, and it's coming in handy this tour as we have all 4 of the Cheap Islands back, and that's awesome. No, I think that's what's great about the algorithm is that people can invest and feel just, I think if nothing else, it adds validation to what they were already thinking. And I think some people are like a little apprehensive, just like, I like this item, it seems cool, it would really help me out, but like I just want to know that I feel safe like making this investment. And hopefully if nothing else, whether it's the top 10 or movers or shakers or whatever that's going on, it can help people out. Now we have just a transition thing. I'm so honored. Sorry, I just get sometimes tickled and like a little teary. I just think like thinking about how many people we have people from Chile that are joining and like that are like engaging with the content. And I don't know, to me that seems like super exciting, and like that brings me a lot of joy. So I appreciate your entertaining and keeping me excited about the game. That actually drives me to keep the content going. And we have a lot to get into, not just for the Sunshine Tour. We also have a vacation tour. So next, just just to get everyone excited or not as excited. Frenzy fans, you guys are on vacation next week. I'm on vacation next week. Sammy's on vacation next week. I'm gonna try to put out something. We'll see what happens. We'll see if I can sneak away from the house to put together a little reaction video, but we have a vacation tour to get into as well. Before we got any further, I wanted to jump into this icebreaker, which is super casual. It's a personal question though, which with the vacation tour coming up, I know Frenzy fans, you guys are like, you and probably Jeeves too, you guys are like vacationers, like you guys love vacationing. So what is your favorite vacation spot ever and why? So maybe we'll start with you Frenzy fans, because you have to start with the birthday boy. What's your favorite vacation? Why?
So I think, and we're probably gonna have this shared. I don't
We
know.
definitely share that. Yeah.
But I think it was like what, a year or two after we got married, 2 years after we got married, we had the opportunity to go to Switzerland for like 10 days and
backpacked through Switzerland. It was a blast.
so we like took advantage of the train system that they have through Switzerland. And I think the highlight was probably we went to a little town called Zermatt, which is right at the base of the Matterhorn.
Oh, I've been to Vermont. That sounds awesome.
Vermont. No, Zermatt.
Zermatt.
Completely different.
Snow though, right? I've been there.
It's the same place. There's snow there. There's mountains.
All triangle shaped.
I'm just joking with you. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
So anyway, it was just an amazing experience. And I think it was kind of like, honestly, that trip was like such a huge turning point in our life. Like our life like completely took a different direction because of that trip. And we are where we are now, obviously, because like we decided to like take the opportunity to go down that road. So anyway, it was super cool. We're really wanting to go back. So we'll have to see, maybe sometime next year.
Yeah, it was 10 days of backpacking through Switzerland. I only cried twice. I cried twice on the trip. The first time was when Frenzy Fanboy, we were getting off a train and he accidentally hit me in the head with his tripod and I got a big goose egg.
The tripod was on my backpack and Frenzy Fan's head just happened to be in the way when I was getting up and moving around. It wasn't like I wasn't maliciously trying to like beat her with it.
No.
Well, that is good. That is good. No, we don't want officials coming in and letting us trying to subpoena us for some contact information. No, so I'm glad you did not hit her on purpose. That's great. But yeah, I'm sure it was a big backpack. I would just imagine this massive like backpack. We're talking.
And it was the tripod. The tripod is
like
what did
warrior hiker, like style, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And then the second time I cried was totally my fault. Okay, first of all, this is like day 8 of this traveling expedition where you're just tired because you're walking a lot and you're lost all the time. And I got on the wrong train and we went the opposite direction as the chocolate factory. That was like my bucket list thing. And we missed going to the chocolate factory. And I just had a moment.
Yeah.
But other than those two,
I would cry too.
But other than those two things, the trip was like the best thing in the world. It was amazing.
We tried so hard to get back in time too before it closed and we couldn't.
Nope.
It was
oh my goodness. Hopefully they had some kind of like store nearby that had sold their chocklet up. And that
we ended up going to Gruyere instead, which is like
the
home of
place.
Gruyere cheese, and got like fondue and stuff. It was fun.
Okay. All right. Well, no, that's good. Matt, I would definitely won't trust you with a map then next time we're traveling, if we're traveling together.
It was my fault.
Well, cool. That's an awesome answer. I appreciate that. And it's like I think in life, hopefully like everyone's answer had something like this. Because I think one of the great parts about Mario Kart Tour is like we do travel the world. And like I think during the pandemic, like that was super exciting as well, just to think about like hypothetically, we're going to Paris, like even though the whole world shut down. And I think for myself, I think just like this whole game, the people that we've engaged with the community, this is a whole world and everyone's experiencing. I mean, we have literally someone who's experiencing winter right now on the call. Dogery, like that's what's awesome about this game. That's what's awesome about this community. And so that's what I appreciate about everything that's going on in this game, in this world, in this community. So no, that's awesome. I appreciate you expressing that. I'll start with you, Jeeves, as well. I don't think you're going on vacation next week, are you?
No, I used it up earlier this year, or most of it earlier this year. So, but actually, I think the ones that I went, and I've actually been able to do it twice. I'm lucky enough to do that. Was going out to Alaska. We don't travel internationally. I mean, I'd like to. There is maybe a possibility of going to Stockholm next May, hopefully. I don't know, but my favorite spot is Alaska. I've done it twice.
Wow.
I mean, it's if you want to go to a place where you feel really small, that's the place to do it. And like I love seafood, and I mean, when you get fresh crab, like you can't get that anywhere else in the world, I think. It's either frozen or whatever. It's just just you feel just so small, and it's pretty. And like when you go up in the summer, you know, the sun doesn't set until like 9:45, maybe even 10, and like it's still light out at 10 o'clock at night, you know.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. So I've done it twice. Went the first time we went up to Denali and saw Mount McKinley, and did like a helicopter tour around it. It was on a really clear day. We were lucky, and seeing all the glaciers and stuff. So it's really not that kind of stuff that you see in Chicago every day. So
that's awesome, man. I've never been to Alaska. That sounds like really cool.
It's incredible. Yeah.
I'm sure the Alaskan crab, I've had Alaskan crab before, but I doubt that's from Alaska. It's probably from like Georgia or something.
Yeah. No, you get
good, man.
The big king crab legs that are like, 2 feet long. They're so good.
That's awesome. Good, man. Well, I appreciate that. No, I've never been to Alaska. Definitely on the bucket list. I can imagine like feeling really small. It's everything's spread out. Like there sometimes, like especially us in the metropolitan areas, like it's super condensed. Like we're like, oh yeah, like we were kind of talking before the show started, like where Frenzy fans, like they're 4 hours from Salt Lake, but they're in Utah. So it's like, but like on the East Coast, like Georgia is like 4 hours from Charlotte. Like that seems like you're passing 2 or 3 states just to get. But like, in Alaska, like the state's bigger than Texas, which is my lazy transition to get to Davey, because Davey lives in Texas. Davey, what's your personal favorite vacation that you've ever taken?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of national parks and also photography. So one of my favorite trips was what I like to call my epic national park trip, which I hit 8 different national parks in. So I basically flew into Salt Lake City, drove up to Yellowstone, and Grand Tetons, and spent a few days there. This was in September, so good, right around the elk rut season. So got to see some of the elk doing their thing in Yellowstone,
Can I pause you there? Have you seen? Sure. Have you seen actual elk, like from afar?
Oh yeah, you can get really close to them.
Oh my God!
Not supposed to get too close, but during the rut season, they all congregate all together and have the males go bugle and sometimes fight each other. So that's an interesting experience for sure. But got some good shots of that happening.
Wait. So you got some bugling action on camera? Is that what you said? Is that legal? Is that cool?
Yeah. Okay. There's like groups of photographers that like go show up in the morning and like
that's awesome.
Camp out in a spot. You just gotta go find where they're all at and find the space you want to be in. I'm by no means an expert on this, but it's there's people that do that every year or live out there, and I was just a visitor and showing up for one day and checking out the scene. But I did not become an expert in that day. But anyway, there's both Yellowstone and Rocky Mountain are great places for that. So hit both of those places on that trip. Drove down, got to see some of the good fall foliage at the same time in Rocky Mountain. Then went down and hit Great Sand Dunes National Park. Then drove into southern Utah and hit up Bryce and Arches and Canyonlands there. And then back Salt Lake and flew home. So all that was about a 2-week trip, and got a lot of awesome pictures, and it's a great time of year for it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, I don't think, man, I feel like that would be so relaxing. Like, I feel like I would come back home and be like, wow, all right. I'm ready to get back at it. Just like, and I know like some of us have like quite a grind for work. And so I can imagine that just is very relaxing, very calming. And just to be able to take in nature like that is an extreme pleasure. I appreciate you sharing that. Dogery. I mean, I feel like just like Chile would be like any of our hot spots to travel to, but like where would you travel outside Chile, or maybe even in Chile that we don't know about? Like, what would be your favorite vacation spots if you've had one in your past?
Definitely, if it involves hiking, I'm all for it. I love it. But particularly, my last one was my favorite. I went south, very south, in a
Like
big
Antarctica?
island.
Because that's like as
No,
south as it gets.
not that south.
Okay, all right.
This island, it's called Chiloé, and to get there, you have to go on a ferry.
Okay.
It's really cool. Going on the water and the cart. Also, there's many volcanoes around, and the Andes Mountains is a really cool place to go.
Nice.
I stay on a hotel on Castro. The animals is really cool,
Very short. A lot of blood for sure.
and it's very beautiful.
Nice.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm looking up right now. It looks amazing. That sounds awesome. Definitely very jealous of that. It looks like there's some like some cool like aspects of like good culture from like historic cultures, like well beyond us. And, like,
Exactly. There's places with a lot of historically in information. The most it's so many water. I really like it, but at the time when I went, it's really cold, so no time to go on the water. And the structure of the houses, it's really particular. It's like Venice mostly. It's really cool. And the seals, there are many seals, and well, mostly I remember now. There's a museum that was really cool with old stuff. Ultimately, a really cool place to visit on vacation.
I'll tell you what, now I'm like really excited. I've never really done this on the podcast before. That's okay. I like doing stuff new. So just to let you know, some islands of Chile. And also they include Argentina in here, but there's some like cool stone culture aspects here.
Easter Island.
Easter Islands here.
The Moais are really cool to watch.
Oh my gosh, this looks like absolutely insane.
Nintendo should do a track there.
Right?
No,
Exactly.
honestly, Mario Kart Tour is like missing out for sure
Yeah.
by not having that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I appreciate you sharing that.
The Easter Island tour.
No, between Easter Island and like Rio, like there's a lot of opportunities in South America. I hope that they come back and hopefully they spend some more time. Good. All right, cool. So no, thanks for sharing that, guys. Appreciate that. It's a good segue from both of like just learning about you guys as well as also jumping into the Sunshine Tour. So not only do we have a vacation tour coming up, we have a Sunshine Tour now, part of this summer celebration. It's just a little anticlimactic. So before we get any further, I want to call out the elephant in the room, which is just that I've personally called this like the relaxation tour. You know, it's mainly not to upset those who will roast me for calling it a biller, rhymes with biller, but starts with F tour. I don't want to actually say the word, so I can just like get through the whole tour without saying that word. I've gone so far between the reaction and the rundown, but the biller rhymes with starts with F though, rhymes with biller. There's so many tracks. So we've had so many tracks that come out, so many plus skill drivers have come out, and we've had so many plus skill plus hitbox like giant hitbox carts that have come out. Like it's basically been bombarding us with great stuff for the first like I don't know 6 months, and then they give us this tour. And it just seems like I think for a lot in the community, there's just like it's a little lackluster. We're gonna keep this positive, but ultimately like.
Okay.
It's tough to keep it positive, but like, what do you think Nintendo is doing right now?
I will agree
everything
with
going
you.
on. I just have to call it out, guys.
I mean, I will agree with you. I think
What's going on?
the relaxation tour, I think is a good term. I don't filler tour, whatever. But like, yeah, relaxation. It was I'm feeling the game is just kind of getting flat a little bit, even though with all the new stuff, like there's not. I feel like it's just every tour is just kind of repetitive. There's a new track, a new Misu.
Welcome to the game, Jeeves.
Yeah, I mean, like,
you haven't noticed that yet? Every 2 weeks, it's kind of the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, but it's like you can't keep up with it, like with all the new stuff with the karts and gliders, like we're never gonna get like a kart that's gonna be like a yellow off-roader or like the black great sail or the the wonderful wings, which I've never went in on, but yeah, I hear it's a great
Wow.
But like, yeah, I know. But like there's you just can't like you just can't get on invest in an item on a kart or a glider that you can think this is going to carry me for a year. It's almost just impossible.
That's true. I agree with that.
Because it's just because there's no, so it's just I don't want to say it's too much stuff, but like I don't know. Like, and so like with this kind of repetitive or like monotonous feeling that I have, like I'm like really like this is the first time like I'm really sitting there. I don't even know like my ACR. I don't even think I'm gonna get top 100 this year or this one. I'm like I'm gonna struggle to get it because like I'm just not finding the motivation to like to. I mean, I'll still play, but to actual sit and grind the tracks, it's I don't know. I'm flat. Like there's the spark isn't there for that, and it's just and I'm getting the same vibe from the next tour. Hate to say it, but yeah. So I don't know if this is a problem for Nintendo, if anyone else is feeling like it. I mean, I see some other people getting really excited, which is cool, but like, man, I'm kind of exhausted a little bit. And here I am, I'm just Mr. Debbie Downer, right?
Well, no, here's the thing. Here's the thing is the icebreaker. Everyone has to answer that one. Yeah. Here's a great time for someone to jump in. This is a one where I think I think that there are a lot of people in the community that are relating to you, Jeeves. I think that at the same point in time, I think like I'm trying to decompose. So there's every tour we kind of go through highs and lows. So like the first 2 or 3 days of the tour, we're super pumped. And honestly, we've been blessed this year. We've had new characters such as Poochie come out. We've had new things as Wiggler. We've had some phenomenal stuff. And then we've had absolutely phenomenal tracks be introduced this year. And so like, you know, this tour, yeah, there's this retro track. It's fine. It's nice. But like we've seen better. We've seen like I think this whole year we've had such a high. This is probably the lowest tour. Like even like when we think about Lakeside Park, like that's the one new thing we have. We don't have any new like high-end driver, but this is the new track we have. It's a retro. And so people are like, you know, hey, you can't call a field tour if we have a new retro, but this is probably out of all the new tracks we've had this year, probably my least favorite, you know, track being brought into Mario Kart Tour we've had this year. I know it's a retro, so I want to make sure that is distinct. There are people that love this track and they loved it back when it was introduced, but way back then. But it's kind of bland. It's like I think it has some great aspects of, you know, what was you know, like the Riverside Park, plus like a nice part of like DK Mountain, plus a nice part of Sunset, you know, like I don't know, there's like some great parts that they incorporated in it, but like at the end of the day, it's not like that new. It's not like breaking the seal. There's nothing. I actually like looking back at like this tour, like DC Circuit is like, wow, this is like different from anything else we have. Like this is like really refreshing compared to like some of the other tracks we've had, or even like Daisy Circuit, like, oh wow, extra item boxes, secret places, like Riverside Park, Lakeside Park is just like, I don't know, it seems relatively uneventful. And so I think that combined with not having a new high-end driver, combined with not having like two new, like I feel like they've done, and I feel like Nintendo, unfortunately, set themselves up for this. Like they've basically given us two new tracks and a brand new high-end plus skill driver, may not be a me, and they've done that basically every single tour for like the last 6 or 7 tours.
Yeah,
and so when they don't give us that, we're let down. It's like if you give us the dopamine, and then all of a sudden we're like left hanging. So I understand what you're saying. But I do think that there are maybe somebody who's enjoying this. I don't know what you guys are enjoying. I'm personally enjoying the most about getting some level grinding. I think that most of the exciting tours have been so exciting that haven't really been doing much of the boring stuff, which is like the routine stuff that I should be doing every tour, but I'm not doing. And I'm doing that this tour because I'm bored. So what do you guys think? What are you guys getting out of this tour? What is this tour bringing you?
One thing
last time. Oh, go ahead, Davey. You got it.
I was just gonna say this tour, one thing it kind of reminds me of is I don't know what the tour name was, but last year the tour when I think it was Baby Park was introduced, where it was technically a new course, a retro course to the game, but that was like the only new thing I think that was featured during that tour. And it was just, you know, a lot of people like that course for nostalgia reasons, I think, but the rest that don't have that nostalgia connection just saw it as just driving in circles over and over. And there wasn't really a lot else going on in that tour, if I recall. So, you know, just kind of has that same kind of feeling. Obviously, Lakeside Park, I think, has a much better course overall than Baby Park, but just the lack of, I don't know, for me, one of the things that kind of excites me or gets me most invested is just the ranked reward. Since I'm mostly playing for ranked, not so much ACR. So this tour, we've really haven't had much in the way of exciting ranked rewards. You know, in the past we've had Gold Knight Luigi, who was kind of a must get, and last tour there was Wiggler. A lot of tours there's a me, but this tour it's, you know, a couple supers and old driver. So, you know, for me I'm kind of each tour making a decision, how hard do I play for whatever's available, knowing that I'm not going to win every week. I don't have the account to do that and the skills to do that. So I kind of have to to make my decisions based on when the right time to go in is. And for this tour, it's just, you know, I've had some holes in various places with the ranked courses, and just haven't seen it as worthwhile to really go hard investing in anything to get anything that's not really going to help me much in the long run.
Mhm. You guys remember about this time last year when we were complaining about so many Mario alts coming to the game? I think we're just unfortunate creatures of habit. Like,
We are.
one of our main habits is just not being satisfied.
I think it's funny because like we talk
kind of our
about
thing.
Mario also, but like we talk about but like the new drivers are great, like the you know, the Poochie, the Wiggler, and you know,
Toad, come on.
yeah,
Gee,
but like the
Astrode.
fortunate thing is that, you know, they're I mean, for, you know, I'll just say this for myself, that they're not useful for me because I go for Mii's now. And that's where I think Studfit says, well, this is Nintendo kind of shooting themselves in the foot for it. I would love to use Wiggler. That's a great character. I would love to go. I don't even own Poochie. You know, I haven't needed. I mean, I could use them for ranked or whatever, but I'm just trying to hold on because I'm waiting for the next Mii. I would rather go in on the cheap Mii, which that's another story. But you know, but it's weird. Like I would love, like it was the excitement with these characters, you know, is great, but it's just like it kind of dies down when like your hardcore players don't need them or don't like it's, or just maybe just to have them on your shelf.
We can certainly jump into the Mii check early. That was like, you know, that's always there. And sometimes it happens earlier in the episode, sometimes it happens later. This might be the time that happens a little earlier. Because we literally have had Yaleen, which y'all know that
Oh, I totally forgot about
and
her.
Spartacong, and then we've had Toad Tourist, we've had Toad Astronaut, we've had like literally so many plus skill non-Mii drivers, and
Right.
yet all I'm thinking about is cheap Mii. And it's tough. It makes things very difficult for a lot of players. So yeah, Frenzy fans, I think you guys were going to jump in next, and I think you guys but I think you probably have a lot to talk about for the Mii's as well, as I know you guys have you know, had your bouts with how you balance the Mii's as well.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the key is having a balanced attack. I think if you've ignored the rest of the game except for only Mii's, then yeah, like it's completely warranted that you're kind of getting discouraged with the game because you're literally ignoring half the game.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing is maybe unpopular opinion, maybe there's more to Mario Kart than getting 200 actions on every single course and getting 100% plus on the DKR sheet. Like, I feel it's like kind of weird as a content creator because we all kind of like grew up together and are very, very mature in the game.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like we're alienating like a lot of the new players because that's all we hem and haw about. And we all say that the Golden Mii suit is the best thing since sliced bread and oxygen.
Which it is for.
But guess
us
what?
more veteran
Guess
players.
what?
Is.
There are tiers 1 through 79 that comprise probably more than 50% of the player base,
Yeah.
but that's not even an option. And if that's not an option, then you're not really investing, like spending the Mii tax.
Mhm.
But guess what? Like there are a lot of these really creative alts that are coming out that aren't Mario alts.
Yeah.
That are super fun, that get rostered in ranked way more than any particular combination of Mii suits. So like,
except for Gold Mii, because he's kind of everywhere, every tour.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So
there's that. But other than that, yeah, I agree 100%.
yeah, like it's I feel like we're so kind of caught up in our own world of Mario Kart Tour that we're not aware of how the majority of the people probably even watching this episode, like they can't and aren't relating with us because we're ignoring
Well, what is what you
later.
said last time around? The loud minority.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
I
mean,
will actually agree with you too. Like I think everything is so focused on action, 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 and I think that's probably one of the things that's kind of being where I feel like it's getting too repetitive, redundant. Like everyone's saying, here's my loadout, here's my sequence, and here's the AC. Every like I see it all like it's consumed. Like it's I almost want to say it's like 70-80% of everything that's on Discord, and which is great because like I would love to post something like that. I mean, I'm not a constant 200 AC driver, but like I want to see someone do something well with a bubble, with a me, and that's where the cheat sheet me
Well,
was.
so here's the thing is like,
So weird.
a lot of the comments on my videos or comments on my Reddit posts are, you have one or two camps. Like you have one, which are like the day one players who invested in me's from day one. And they say like, I wish I had just like, what 10 me characters could I invest in to cover all the tracks? Like they just want to like, they're already in me's that again, this is like the 1% of the 1%. Like this is like such a small minority, but they're watching my content and they're paying attention. And and honestly, I want to know. But then there are everybody else, and not everyone else comments, but some people comment just say, hey, by the way, like I love that when we do a lot of the pairings, none of the pairings include me characters. Me characters are not really in the pairings because they don't cover that much. They don't have that many tracks. And so I think there are between that and like if you look at actually like the top 10, like there might be 4 me's and like there are 6 other like non-me's covering like in the top 10. So for a lot of the players, like, yeah, they have to kind of like focus on those other 6, but like they have 6 that they can focus on. So, it is tough because we're really playing 2 different games, right? You have like the whale game, you have like the day one player game, you have the me game, you have like everybody else, the new players. And it is tough, like, especially as a content creator. And I'd be happy to toss it back to Frenzy fans. Like, how do you make both sides happy? How do you still talk about strategy for the whales, for the players who have all the me's, who have the gold me, for those 80 plus a tier who are really like focusing in on like investing in those me's? It doesn't, I think ultimately it's never too late to jump on the me bandwagon, but there are some that like literally started a month ago or 2 ago. We're like, I want to help them, I want to reach out to them, but it's tough. It's very difficult to get them involved. So I do want to introduce one of the fans who have been one of the most focused on the me's early on, and that's the perfect segue. We were talking about surprise me's, blah blah blah. Welcome. How are you doing, sir?
Howdy. Thanks for
So
letting me
you
join.
are
Let
a
me join
big
this
fan.
party.
You are a big fan of me's.
Oh yeah.
I know you were one of the first early in the bandwagon. I know that you're involved in very different Discord servers, and maybe just let people know it at home, just a little bit about yourself and what you kind of think about the game in general, and kind of specifically around me's. But like, as you try to help people who are like, say, people who have started 3 or 4 weeks ago, how would you recommend them getting into the me game? Is there any way to just like help them transition, or is it just like, hey, you'll accumulate them over time, but like this is the end game? Like this is like how you are able to continue to compete in this game ultimately.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of interesting discussions with my fellow Donnies. I think you may know at least one of the Donnies. I think they've joined your ranks, former Donnie. But the me's are interesting. Like I saw it coming a long time. I didn't know that they'd be as powerful as they are now. 2,200 base points is,
Dude.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy, right? So, I mean, you can have a non-plus skill me you put 6 cap tickets on it, and now we're at a point where it's more valuable than like a coin box,
Yeah.
non-me. It's like, what? Like, okay, so now it's like, it's interesting because like I love the me's, but at the same time they've also like killed some of the game. But I know a lot of people that really like Mario, like people that like the Mario part of the game rather than just the racing and strategy. It's like original characters are less valuable. So like the last original character that I think I'll buy is Explorer Shy Guy. The
light blue.
light blue, yeah. So he's a lucky 7, and I took him to level 8 on his
He's
debut.
spicy. I like him.
Triple capped him. I was like, I can't quad cap a non-me. So just triple capped him. And I'm like, he sat on my bench for a while. He's been really great and ranked recently, but I'm like the me's are just like, they're too powerful to do that again with a non-me at this point. So like if they change the game, I don't know, who knows what they do. Somehow where regular characters become more powerful than me's, because they seem to always do the seesaw thing, right? With how they buff things. I don't know, maybe they start buffing original characters over me's.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They're only powerful if you've purchased all 60.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
sure, yeah.
That's the thing. There are a lot of new
Gotta pay the
players.
me tax.
Oh,
that
yeah,
don't-
yeah, exactly. So like for a new player, the me tax is every tour buy the discounted one. If there's more than one discounted one and you don't own it, buy it, just because it's adding to your
Basically a
collection.
driver ticket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Same price.
yeah. 70 rubies for a discounted me. If you don't own it, that's a great price. You should buy all of them for 70 rubies. And
Yeah.
if you do already own it and it's a plus skill and they're offering it for 70 rupees, I generally will buy that one, because it's a slight discount on pure ruby to coin rush conversion. So like if you're a total math nerd and you're really optimizing, like you spend 75 rubies and you get just over 12,000 coins, which is equivalent to one driver ticket, right? So if they're offering it for 70 rupees, you're spending just under 12,000 or just under to get 12,000 coins. I mean, it's
Right.
So
And
it's
it's
kind
not a
of
driver ticket.
like a free access to a high-end ticket. Yeah. So
yeah.
no, I threw you into the fire. You passed the test, blah, blah, blah. Appreciate
good.
you guys.
And then you
Appreciate
compare it
joining, man. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, the kids are asleep. I think the wife also fell asleep, so didn't have to explain why I'm on a Mario panel. Then I'm joining late.
Well, it's funny because like you talk about like the 70 rubies for like the me suit, and compare that to the discounted 105 for just the like a high-end driver.
Like I don't understand. Like you do the math, and even non-discounted, like the character suits, like it's like they're too expensive. Like who's buying
Right.
Baby Mario Koala
For 150 rubies?
Like nobody, like who is doing that? I mean, if you really have some passion for koalas, maybe you're spending 150 rupees, but I can't imagine.
There might be. Actually, there might be. You never know.
That one maybe, but like Funky Kong. Okay, Funky Kong, like
Funky
he
Kong.
also shows up for 150 rupees. Who's
Even
spending
with, like,
150 rupees?
Even with the new ones that were buyable, like I didn't buy the Pauline one last tour. I didn't buy the Toad photographer. I didn't buy Poochie. I bought.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Like
the PK thing because like Sammy convinced me, like if you buy it, it'll show Nintendo that it's like it, it's popular. I'm like, okay, fine, Sammy. But I'm like, that is just I think it's literally for a waste of 105 rupees for being like a whale and ACR player. But like,
here's the thing. Nintendo knows this, and they're throwing each one of you a curveball right now this week in ranked. Daisy Cruiser RT. Okay, there are a total of 7.
I'm going to counter this with you though. Sorry.
There's a total of 7 top shelf drivers. Of the me suits, you have the cheap, you have the Daisy, and the blue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, you also have Poochie, Photoad, Toadette, Sailor, who I think has like 55 courses in the game, something like that.
Yes.
And Daisy
Probably
Yukata,
breaking the game. Yeah.
which is like an oldie but a goodie. So here's my argument is, if you're a player in the game that invests a lot in everything and you're supporting the developers, yes, go ahead and put like these tickets on these me suits that will maybe give you like 1 or 2 courses. And if you invest in 25 to 30 me suits that give you 1 to 2 courses each, then you're going to get 60 to 70 courses. Where if you don't have those type of resources, or you're not getting 8 tickets out of the 9 slots in your daily selects every day because you've maxed everything out.
I don't think anyone gets 8 tickets out of 9.
Where's Kanye?
I'm
Hold
going
on,
to,
wait.
okay.
Hey,
I'm gonna-
hey, I
I'm
am
gonna
right in the
counter-
middle. I am right in the middle of
counter
my
to your point.
Jeeves. Hey, moderator,
There's
can
a
you
lot of people
mute
in the middle.
Jeeves? Can you mute Jeeves? What is this?
Actually, I can't. I can probably mute it. No, I think a lot of people are in the middle. It's tough.
I'm not done yet. Hold on. I am halfway through my arguments. Holy freaking crap.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Frenzy,
I think there are a lot of people in the middle,
said
but go ahead.
extra
Yes,
spicy
I agree.
today. Extra spicy.
I like it. I
This is
like
why I
the
just, like,
spice.
check
This is your
out.
birthday tour. Go full birthday mode.
Are we done yet?
Go.
Has everyone had an opportunity to interrupt Frenzy fans?
I like
Point
where you're going.
being-
Continue.
Yeah,
Is
keep
if
going.
You don't,
If you got
if
more, go for it.
if you don't, yeah, I'm not even halfway through. If you don't have 4 to 5 tickets coming into your shop every day and the resources to buy all those tickets, what I'm trying to say is the limited tickets that you may have are going to serve you better over the course of several tours if you don't invest in me suits. Like I said earlier, all of us, we've been playing this for 40, 50, 60 months. And so this doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
But for those that don't have all the me suits and are just trying to rank up in like the tiers just to like get some type of progression in the game, using your resources on non-me stuff is going to be a better bang for your buck than it is on me suits. Does that make sense?
You're speaking to the you're speaking to the silent majority. I will give you that.
Yeah, that's fair. If you're trying to maximize baseline level 1 top shelf coverage across, and you are trying to min max it and have the least amount of drivers but full coverage, then yeah, for sure the character drivers will give you that over
So
me.
this week for Daisy Cruiser RT, what are you guys using? Because if you didn't buy Poochie and you're not investing in Photoed and you
I am
probably
using
haven't
a
done
lot.
anything with Toadette
It's
Sailor.
the
or
worst
T-
case scenario. And
So I
Nintendo
haven't-
knows
No,
this.
but this
Oh,
is what
yeah,
I'm
this-
saying.
This
I'm
is my,
saying Nintendo is sniffing this, they're seeing this, and
They
they're
have to see
throwing
it.
these curveballs where they're going to make
Oh,
you
every
spend
every
resources
tour.
that you
Oh,
don't
this
want
is
to
the meta
spend.
stuff that I
my
love though
counter is
that
that-
Nintendo's been doing.
they always, you know, for someone, you know, like, you know, with like me or like with maybe Kareem or, you know, Auto Drift or, you know, like a Big Whale, they're in ranks. This is part of the repetitiveness that I'm saying. There's always one track where we have really bad loadouts. So I'm using a level 1 Daisy. I'm using a level 4 Sakura Hop Rod and a
You're talking
level
about Daisy Me, I think. Right.
what?
Daisy
Me,
Me.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things. It's like, okay, you know, look at the cheap sheet me, and that's where we can go with there. Because like, you know, I've spoken with some other friends. Shout out to Jedi who looked at my account a little bit. Like, if I take cheap to level 8 triple, I can like he gives me 12 tracks, right? You know, that's the whole. I don't want to say controversy, but it's like the whole like, okay, tempting thing about the cheap meat. But anyway, my thing is like they always give me one of these tracks where I will have a very low loadout, but the other 2 I will just crush. It's always like that. I'm just used to that. And I can get to a point where, okay, you know, maybe some of the stuff like a Poochie or a photo, yeah, the photo toad, like, yeah, that might help. But in terms of in the me game, I have a sequential list of which ones I want to level up. And I don't want to distract that. And even using a level 1 driver, I will not risk tickets just to put into that because the me's have a smaller coverage. Now, in regards to what Frenzy Fan guy is saying, speaking for the silent majority, he has a very valid point. And I will also add to this game is a process. This game, you have to have certain stuff to get to, quote, the me game. It's like I've always said, Meowser is still important. Kamek sometimes is still important. There are some things, so it's not like you can just go in all on all of Mii's. I still believe that you will need to have a high level, regular high or like non-Mii high-end drivers to succeed before you get saying it's a complete Mii game. And maybe we can talk to
Yeah.
Davey
I
and
want to hear. I
Wilson.
honestly, I want to hear from Davey and
Yeah.
Dojery, because I think that like even in this tour, like last week, I had shout out to Frenzy Fans Guy. I had Mario
Why are we always shouting
Tuxedo.
out Frenzy
I had
fans?
I know. Listen, I had Mario Tuxedo. He was useful for the first
I
time in
used
like
them too.
9 months. Yeah.
I
All right,
used
so
them
can
too.
I
He's
can I
gonna come back
can I-
somehow.
can I use some props that I had on my desk really quick?
Sure.
Please
All right,
do. I
so
love
all
props.
right, so this
No more shouting
this
out.
this
Frenzy
is
Fan
okay.
Guy.
So this is the Mii's, right? This is a very versatile. This is a Phillips head screwdriver, a number 2. You use that for
Oh, number
almost
2 is my
everything,
favorite.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the non-Mii's. This is like the character drivers. It's a very specialized, like you can open up like a Nintendo controller with this, but that's about it, right? Like it's a very small bit,
Right.
right?
Very
So like
specific. Yeah.
the game is complemented by both sets, and it's like if you're all in on the Mii's, it's really hard to justify like buying a character and investing into a character when it's, you know, how often do you use it, right? At
Yeah.
this point. So like I get both sides of the argument. Frenzy fan side is more on the non-whale. Like if you're looking for coverage, you just want top shelf level 1 coverage. That's what you're maximizing. I get like Toadette Sailor, or you know, Sailor Toadette she has a lot of tracks. Like you can't argue that.
Okay, so go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think going off your analogy, I love it. I think the original characters are more like an Allen wrench, where you can't like build custom furniture with it and like build the nicest stuff, but you're gonna get the most bang out of your buck with that one little tool.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's
Especially in IKEA. Yeah, I'm with you.
Exactly.
there.
Yeah.
okay, so here's just a little bit of actual data from the last 10 tours. So we on our channel we have the most valuable items survey, which is
We talked about that. Yeah.
it's similar to
like
like
it.
Studfit's top 10, but it's more like community-based driven data where players will vote for the items that they're actually using in ranked every week. And I report on the past 10 tours. So it's like this rolling average, right, of items, drivers, carts, and gliders that end up getting used in ranked. And starting last tour, I started this new metric where I'm starting to take a look at the amount of the top 10 non-Mii drivers and Mii drivers that have appeared in ranked, how many courses that they've been rostered in the past 10 tours. So for non-Mii drivers appearing 10 or more times in ranked over the past 10 tours, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 drivers in the game.
Oh man, this could be like a trivia question. Can we guess the 5?
Toad astronaut. It has
We
to be
gotta do the panel. We
astronaut.
gotta do panel though. Panel.
Yeah,
This is
yes,
like test your
yes.
knowledge
Okay,
panel.
let me once again finish my train of thought, and then we can play the trivia game. So there are 5 non-Mii drivers that if you have the tickets to be able to take them to say each one of those to like level 4, which would be 4 tickets each. And so for 5 drivers, that would be 20 tickets, right? You could have 5 drivers that have been rostered 10 or more times in the past 10 tours. Whereas with the Mii suits, guess how many Mii suits have been rostered 10 times in the past 10 tours?
I don't think there's one.
Oh, 0.
ranked.
Yeah.
I would say there's 0.
1 or
One.
0. PD
One.
Piranha.
It's the gold Mii racing
Oh,
suit.
gold, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gold
So here's what I'm
is-
saying. And
tour.
what Studfit and Jeeves and a lot of the content creators are saying is true,
100% true.
but it's a little misleading when that's the only thing that we're talking about.
That's
The
a
thing-
good point. Like that's a great point. Like
The only thing
The
I'm
Mii's
trying
are
to
only
say is that
valuable
there's-
once
there's-
you've hit level 80. If you're a new player, you're not level 80. You don't have gold
No.
Mii, right?
Exactly.
Like I get like 100%. Like that's
So you don't have the gold Mii. That means that in order to be able to reach the same
Gets to
amount of rostering, let's say, with Mii suits, you need to have 30 to 40% more of those drivers invested in order to be able to match the same amount of level, just having something high level in those ranked, which is going to be 30 to 40% more tickets. And if people don't have those tickets but still want to be competitive, then taking the advice of only go with Mii's, get the cheap Mii racing suit, I cringe. Like I feel like, no, like there are more people playing the game than just us.
Get the cheap Mii. I'm not telling everyone to get the cheap Mii. I'm talking
By the way, anyone who's just like only listening to this podcast, there's a lot of like reactions. There's a lot of visual. Like, this is great for YouTube.
I got a whole PowerPoint, guys.
No, James, you probably bring some good points, but I honestly would love to hear from Davey and Dojari. What do you guys think about Mii's in general to like the people who aren't whales? Like how are you getting through the dog days of summer?
Yes,
it's been pretty.
Yeah. So for me, I'm one of the people that was probably late to the Mii game, trying to hold off as long as I could. Part of that's probably because I was late to getting the gold Mii suit. That didn't happen until probably about 6 months ago. So for the longest time, like I didn't really have a lot of incentive to keep buying Mii's because I wasn't using them for ranked, period. So I think I'm kind of, I don't know if I'm an anomaly here, but I've been, playing the game since very early on, but I'm still, I guess, at a low enough tier where a lot of the ranked competition I'm facing isn't using all Mii's every week. I think I probably fit in the demographic that Frenzy Fanboy was mentioning of, people that, I'm looking to get the most coverage, and I don't have the ticket resources to cover all the courses if I just go in on Mii's. So I'm big on using been trying to use the Ticket Time app for a lot of investment decisions, and I'm kind of at the point where I'm thinking if the Mii game was the optimal way to go, then it should be telling me that Mii's are the be my top 10 places to invest my resources, and that still has not yet to happen. It's gold Mii and question mark Mii, the coin boxers that those are the ones that are powering my account. But I don't do the boomboxing thing, so I'm not investing in boomerang characters.
Okay.
So there's not a lot, I guess, besides those two, not a lot of Mii's that I'm really investing into. Yellow Mii maybe a little bit more, but big giant banana fan. But
nice.
Yeah, it's just for me, it doesn't seem like I'm at the point where I'm close enough to that top tier status where that's kind of the optimal way to go yet.
Yeah, no, I get it. And one of the things that I like about the ticket time is that one of the inputs is how many tickets you have. And so like if you were to put in, like 500 or 600 tickets, like I doubt anybody has that many, but if you were to put that many in, then I'm sure the algorithm would come up with like the 8 or 10 different Mii suits that you would be able to take to 8 in order to be able to provide that level of coverage to be able to get you like the high amount of points, right? But that's not how we're playing the game. So like I think I only have like 3 Mii suits, maybe 4 that are like level 6 or more. Every time that they show up in ranked, it's just like icing on the cake. It's like, oh, cool. Like I don't have to like worry about like a non-Mii racing suit like here. Like it just kind of makes ranked a little bit easier that week. But for the scenarios like this week with Daisy Cruiser RT, I've got a level 7-3 faux toad that I am so looking forward to
Nice.
grinding with Giant Banana, because it's just gonna be freaking fun, you know? And
Yeah,
like
it's gonna be fun.
that's the part of the game that I think we're missing out on when we're focusing more on how many base points and levels that we can get in order to be able to get into top 10 or top 100.
That's what
And that's for like 150 people, but there are thousands of people that are watching us.
Yeah, it depends. It's like how serious do you want to take the game? If you want to play this game, like, okay, so I used to be a big whale. I have not spent very much money since they got rid of Gacha. I do Gold Pass. I buy occasional commemorative. I've stopped buying. I bought when in the Donkey Kong tour, I bought the $20 pack.
Mhm.
But other than that, I've been Gold Pass only for, I don't know, 6 months or something. So like I've been spending my resources down. One of the things that I did was I like saved up all my multiplayer pipes for like 8 tours. So like as I've not had enough coins to buy tickets in the shop, I'll go into my multiplayer and fire off like 90 pipes and get 30,000 coins and whatever, just because I've saved them from tours. But like I'm spending everything down. And now I'm like getting to a point where I'm like running out and I have to make like more strategic decisions of like, I can't just take things to 8. Like maybe I have to leave a card at 6 again. But I'm still like want the option to take stuff to 8. So like it's an interesting part of the game, but like I recognize that where I'm at in my account, and like I've played almost, you know, since 2 months into the game, pretty competitively, like going for top 1,000, top 100, trying to always win ranked. Like my account is way different than the vast majority of players that play this game, especially if you're new to this game. Like you don't have full coverage for these old tracks. Like maybe you don't have a good driver for Koopa Troopa Beach 2, or you know, like whereas Studfit, myself, Jeeves, Frenzy fans girl, like we're all gonna have coverage for all these old tracks we played long enough. And
Well, I
sorry,
think
Davey and
that's what makes
Doggery, I
it-
don't.
That's what makes something like the Daisy Cruiser RT situation interesting, and
What?
a similar scenario. I think this is a very extreme scenario because like I have not used. I have such low levels on that track. Like, I mean, yes, I can, you know, maybe, you know, throw a tick or something, but I don't want to. But it just makes you feel like when it comes specifically to ranked, no one is safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've said this.
You know, like it's because like yeah, someone in my rank can have like a level 7 photo is a vacation toad or tourist
Yeah,
toad.
tourist.
To a tourist.
And he and that person can have, you know, still like a level 8 gold me, and
Yeah.
it's the one that I used on the Lakeside Park. Who's the one on Lakeside Park? Is it
A couple options. Yoshi, Kangaroo Yoshi
there's
is
a
who I'm
coin
using
box
there.
on there?
There's Larry. I think.
Wintertime Larry.
Yeah.
And they can still have that, or they could, yeah. So they can still have that, and like, yeah, like if someone, so like, no one's safe when it comes to rank.
So-
And I think-
So my
Let me,
rank this
let me
week,
ask you
I'm-
this. Let me ask if you don't mind, Dojery, I'd love to hear your opinion on specifically like the Daisy Circuit RT situation, because you know, like, are you all in on Mies, or are you like 1 foot in, 1 foot the other in the other boat? Like, how are you approaching it?
Apologies for the connection. It's been really stable.
It's
But
great.
my approach lately, it's been only by top skill Mies. So now that I have Gold Pass, I think I'm going to change it. I will be buying all 70 rubies Mies suits. Right now, for Daisy Cruiser, the one in rank, I'm using Toaded Sailor at level 3. And I'm really considering Chip Me. It's on my tiered ranking 3 for most useful if I had it, obviously. I don't think I'm going to stop using Gold Pass, and now I can afford to go more on the Mies. I'm going to jump on the bandwagon. I think I'm going to do it.
Nice. All right, so
See.
here's the
I think this is a good transition to that question.
I mean, because that's the thing. Like that's like
Stash
the
'em.
lowest
Like,
of
stash 'em.
low situations. But we're all there. I mean, like in my spreadsheet when I'm doing it, Cheap Me is the lowest level 1 me driver that I have in the game. Like on the spreadsheet, if I were to take it to level 4, it would jump up into like to my top 25 drivers like instantaneously. So like I'm curious, like is for I want to have to hear like for those contemplating in that same situation, Cheap Me as an example, like it would actually, if you're going all in on me's, it would fit a lot of the gaps that the non-plus skill me's, and I think Doja Reed hit it perfectly. I mean, is that something that anyone else is covering, or is like, am I the only one else in that situation? To me, I feel like my fear is that there could be something new coming out, a plus kill me that could come out in the next 6 months that will take half of its tracks away. And that's the only thing holding me back from going all in on it.
No, I think that a me suit that's like a troll skill like that is going to be complementary and fill gaps around the other plus skill me's. Like that's how they do. Like, I don't know. I mean, I have, I've said this in chat,
I like
but
troll skill. Can I use
I mean,
that?
it is like the
Troll
bubble. Yeah, of
skill?
course, the bubble. It's a troll skill. Like, nobody wants to like run bubble. Like, nobody's playing 5th place to like hoping to get a bubble, right? Like, it's a troll skill. Okay, so Nintendo has like, they have I've called it in chat like the opposite or evil Antilev, where like they have somebody that is like looking over the data in a different way that Antilev looks at it, but like
The evil
maximizing like they look at like, okay, our player base, and they can like look at segments like, okay, people that spend the most amount of money, who are their least, as a group, least leveled driver, or like they don't own, and that's how they pick for these like super, what we used to call paywall tracks now.
Bloomy.
Yeah. Right. So like they look and they can see like, oh, of the top 1,000 paying dollar, 1,000 customers, which probably some of you may be in, like if you're a whale, you may be in there.
No.
Like they just look at your, like, what do you have?
By the way.
And they're doing evil Antilev, and like that's how they're picking like the ranked. And then when that track comes back in like, what is it, 6 tours, 10 tours maybe, then it'll come and it might get like a non-plus skill me, like something else that'll come, and they'll give something to that track. But like when they debut, they are rough, like Chief said, and like I'm probably not going to get first. Like, so I'm for rank this week. I opened up the game on Wednesday, and I see somebody that's put up like 167 or 166,000 points. And I'm like, oh, okay, they must have good loadouts everywhere. So I look and I'm like, oh, I match up the first track, I have gold me, level 8. And then the second track, I'm like, wait, they have a level 7 or level 8 Poochie. And I'm like, I have a level 1 cheap me. Yeah. So I'm like, like, okay. And then I look at the last track and I have like a level 7 Kangaroo, and they have a level 8 Wintertime. Like they're better a little bit there. So I'm like, oh, my maximum score, even if I play all out, play shout out like to crazy and get like 110% of my total, possible score. And
yeah,
I'm still like 5,000 points short. So I'm like, oh man, if I can get one good boombox run, maybe then I'll invest in cheap me. So like, if I have the scores on the other tracks, then it's like, is it worth investing there? Otherwise, I'm just going to run for second place and keep my guy at level 1. But I don't know. Evil Antilev, man. Like there's definitely a dude or a dudette, whatever, at Nintendo that is looking at all of our inventories, and
I think it's Frenzy Fan Guy.
It's really scary.
See, here's the thing.
He's the mole.
All I'm saying is that you're just going to see this trend where there's going to be one track every single tour in ranked, where you're going to see either an Astrode, a Photoad, a Poochie, or like a Donkey Kong Gladiator with 3 other Miis. It's not going to be the cheap. It's not going to be the blue. It's not going to be Daisy. It's going to be 3 other neglected Miis. Yeah. And it's going to force players like you to then think all week, oh, man, if I were to invest 22 tickets into this me that I've never used and probably never
That's what
will
I'm trying
use.
to do. I'm trying not.
Nintendo's like,
They're
yes,
fishing. They're
yes.
fishing.
Yes.
It's a whole fishing tactic. I'm like, okay, they're trying to get me.
But if you just would have invested in Photoad or Astrode or Poochie once, guess what? Every single time that those curveball courses come up,
Wait, are
you
those?
have
The thing
the
is, we are
7-3
only talking-
non-me suit, and you're
we are-
fine.
Wait,
are
wait,
fine.
we never went back to Frenzy Fans trivia. Which of the top 5?
Hang on. We are only
Which?
talking about ranked. We're not
Yeah.
talking about ACR. That's the deal. I am not
Exactly.
going to invest in a driver that I've never used ever.
I know, and it's you and 149 other people in the entire world that care about
Okay.
this.
So like,
No.
I'm just telling you that.
I want to
Well,
know.
here's
I
the
want to
thing,
know the
okay.
top 5 characters that have been in ranked. I think that's like useful
Yeah, I think we should
information
do that.
for new players too. But
I think it's Toaded Sailor for sure.
yeah, I want to take guesses on that. Like, so Frenzy Fans.
Sailor?
You said it
Okay.
was the last 12 tours or last how many?
Last 10.
10 tours.
Well, one of
I
them
mean,
is Astrotoad.
Yeah, Astrotoad has
Astrotoad's been all over the place. Yeah.
Mhm.
Poochie,
Yeah.
Poochie's
I'm
been
gonna
I
coming
think
on real
Poochie. I
strong.
think Poochie is one.
I'm gonna
Gucci's
say
been
light blue
balling.
shy guy explorer.
Shy Guy, yeah, light blue. Yep. He's been crushing it. Well, I feel like we have to say Toad Taurus because Frenzy Fan Guy is all over about him, and I don't know. I haven't looked at the data for them. Yeah, no, there's a variety of options. I think though, like even if you were to invest in them, like is the return on investment better or worse than on the Mii's? I don't know. I think that Nintendo has gone out of their way to reverse Antelev,
Reverse
to make it compelling.
Evil Auntie.
I like
Fight back.
the evil Antelev because they're making this argument extremely compelling, and I love this conversation. This conversation is taking over the podcast. I absolutely love it because it is literally what we're all thinking in our mind is like, could I just invest in a couple of these drivers that are non-Mii's, but like to have wider coverage, or these Mii's have smaller coverage, but like bigger base points, and like literally everything's thinking about that. But then they come down to it, like where you're saying, G is like, okay, which 2 can I invest in? Well, there's not 2. You have to invest in all 5. well, what about for the Mii's?
Well,
you
this
have to
goes
invest in
back to
all
my
of them.
point
Well, it's like,
saying,
oh my
this
gosh,
is-
like, what do I
it's
do? What do
It's
I
a
do?
process to the game. I mean, yeah, Frenzy Fan Guy, he's my point. Like I might, we might have to go back to investing in one of these newer non-me drivers. Maybe might be Wiggler, who knows? But it's also it's just part of that, another layer of the process of where is it going to. If I'm Nintendo right now, as much as we're I love how this conversation is talking about how this game has kind of been flat, or like this tour has been flat, and now we're just fired up right now. So
This is
I
one
really
of the
hope-
most fired up episodes ever,
if
actually. Yeah.
I'm Nintendo, I'm eating this episode up right now because like we're all functioning. I hate Frenzy Fanboy now, but because he's just dropping loads of data on me that I can't. That he just
Well, by the way, I
The numbers
purposely
don't lie.
asked,
no, they don't lie.
I purposely asked Bob Blah Blah to come on because I know he's like the me king. So
And I would.
I knew
I'm
he
on
and
his
Frenzy
side.
fans were gonna have like a head-on collision here, which I think is like no, but like at the end of the day, like I had to have some representation from like the level-headed, like
No, this is
people
just
who
a
can't
great
invest in everything,
channel.
like, and that's why Davey and to Joji are like chiming in is like where are we in the game? Like, I get the Mii's are so powerful, but like can you pull the sword out of the stone with the less powerful drop?
So I think this is probably best answered by someone who either has like a free-to-play account or someone who is like recently hit tier 80. But here's my best guess on like the state of Mii's. If you're under tier 80 and you have like you enjoy the game and you want to keep playing and you envision yourself as like a top player, you should be buying all the 70 Ruby Mii's and just stashing them. But you should probably be focusing on coverage. When you get tier 80, you're going to get gold Mii, and you bought all of those plus 10 base point discounted Mii's Now you have Gold Me, but he's like a more powerful leveled up version because you have all of the extra base points. At that point, I think is when like this other discussion of like, are Mii's better to go down or is it better to like stay with the characters? That's like where Frenzy fans and Jeeves can kind of duke it out. But that's I think my recommendation is if you're less than tier 80, you envision yourself playing at least until tier 80, getting Gold Me is just buy the 70 Ruby ones. I wouldn't invest in them for coverage or ranked probably because they don't have enough tracks.
I would like to hear more data from
But,
Frenzy Fanboy
Yeah,
on an ACR perspective. I think all of his data has been on rank,
As
which
compared to
is great.
ranked.
Because that is, I mean, that is a huge part of the game because of the rewards. But my argument with the Mii's with ACR is I was noting with last tour. What was the last tour called?
The Pipe Tour.
Pipe Tour. I was noticed to my homies group, Frenzy Grind and Jedi and God Mode and Brad. Hi guys, love you. I noticed that I was using Mii's in well over half of AC of all the tracks. Now I don't
Yes.
know if that's a problem. Is that a problem? I don't know.
Well, you just said that you're not going to get top 100 this tour. Is that a problem? I don't know.
No, it's not.
So-
Well, but here,
Uh-oh.
can I
See what I'm saying?
say
You're not
my
enjoying
problem with
it.
Mii's
okay,
at that
no,
point
I am
for
not.
ACR?
I am not. I did not fill out a spreadsheet this tour either, so I don't know what
Yeah,
my.
and you're not enjoying it.
So-
Can I? Okay.
So
Okay,
my
Frenzy Fangirl time. Frenzy
Oh,
Fangirl
Frenzy
time.
Fangirl time. Let's go.
Wow, you're vicious.
No, okay, here's the cool thing. We say this all the time. I don't know why we forget this. Like it's like basic Mario Kart.
I love this.
1.
This is great.
I'm sorry, but there are a million ways to play this game, and the longer the game exists, the more ways we can have fun with it, right? We have battle mode, we have Mario Kart, we have ACR, we have ranked, we have just the joy of original characters. So getting in these heated, like I feel like we're sitting here, and not that we're actually arguing, like we're doing this pretty much for the sake of the content, like we're tight with Jeeves and everything, but like we're
I'm
sitting
never
here
gonna
and
get
it's
on
like
here again.
a person who owns a salon is arguing with a person who owns a huge manufacturing company about the best way to run a business. Like it doesn't matter. Like do what's best for you, do what you like. Like there's basic data out there for everyone to actually know what's going on. So like, yeah, if you're not going for ACR the whole time, like blah, blah, blah said, I don't know if I said that right.
Yep, that's it.
Might have been
Yeah.
extra lob there,
blah,
but
blah, blah,
it's
blah,
okay.
blah, blah said is that if you're not going for ACR or even close to like top 90, like don't worry about the Mii's quite yet. But if you're going for ACR and like that's the thing you want to do, like Mii's are a necessary part, whether it's like the main focus or not, or like just a healthy mix, right? But if you're literally just trying to rank up and your goal is I'm at tier 40 and you're trying to get that gold, then like coverage is the most important thing, right? They're two different completely different games. And you just have, like, it's our own responsibility to establish like where we are at and then research like that topic, like that strategy, what is the right one, because it's not the same for all of us, which is totally healthy and okay.
No, I mean, you can also say like every account is different. I mean, there's just such a diverse. So,
100%. Yeah, I think in general, solid point there. Like everyone should assess their account and like understand where they fit into the meta. I think most people, and honestly, like I have a lot of comments that happen that just on our videos to just say, hey, I don't have like the gold me. So like, what should I do in that situation? I'm like, okay, well, that's very different. But actually, I feel like that the algorithm is actually probably more pointed towards groups that don't have Mii's. Like if you can get gold me, if you can get PD me, if you can get, some of these me suits up, like they'll be really good for you. But like there are a lot of non-plus skill Mii's in the rundown that we focus on. And again, that's just drivers. There's carts and gliders that apply to everybody, which is phenomenal. And thankfully, Nintendo hasn't just completely screwed up that for us too, or else we would just totally like not even be able to talk apples to apples in a lot of the conversations we're having. But I do think with the Mii's, like you have to see your account. You have to see where you like I always try to throw this in. The coverage, like trackers and stuff, are always going to be the best solution for everybody. Like if you really are curious about it, take the 20 minutes it takes to fill out all the trackers and just go through that process, because if
Very
you really
useful.
want to know, like that will help you out for sure. But like, I don't even think like if we wanted just like to go all in on Mies, like if there's like a coverage optimizer to help us just go in Mies, and if so, I'm sure Cheap would be at the top of our list to Bob's point. So yeah, I don't get, we're all kind of like, doggy paddling in our own different, aspects of what we're trying to get accomplished. But I think what I love about Daisy Circuit RT is like, it's like the perfect, and they do this like every 2 tours or 3 tours, where they give us this scenario where it's like, okay, here's 3 garbage me options you can invest in, or here's, Poochie, here's Light Blue Shy Guy, Ninja, whatever Explorer, here's like another plus skilled on me, and you can take your pick. Like, I dare you to make your pick. And like, I'm sitting here, and I will get through, I'll probably finish first. And it's a luxury, but I don't know why Nintendo's giving me, some easy options for ranked, but like, I'm not going to invest in any. I'm just going to literally go through with a level 1 driver. The thing is like when I'm looking at, and this is actually something meaningful that could help everyone, is like, the action count for using a plus skill on me versus using a me suit. Like, it's actually not going to probably help you out that much. Like, most of your points for this tour, if you think about it, probably 60% of your points are going to come from the Daisy Circuit, because it's like over 200 action count track. It's one where you probably have gold me, or you might have, gold charging Chuck, or King Mario, or somebody else with a coin box. You probably have a beefed up cart, you have a beefed up glider, and 60 to 70% of your ranked score is going to come from Daisy Circuit RT. It's a massive action count track, and the other tracks are not going to, neither one of them is going to really help you out that much when it comes to your actual points. So my recommendation was get 200 actions there on Daisy Circuit, and if you still need help, maybe make an investment into Lakeside Park, and just like leave Daisy Circuit as it is, because like that's my recommendation, is like, don't get so hung up on should I invest here, is like, is this me suit versus this me suit. Like, if you can, don't invest in any, invest elsewhere, because that track is actually, although it's an RT track, so there's plenty of like trick stuff going on, like you could probably invest elsewhere to maximize the points.
I have 15 miss, so I think that's a bit low.
Decent.
But I'm gonna make up for it. So I think to get the gold me suit, I think Larry Me will carry me in the future 100%.
Do you like boomboxing?
I love it. Manipulating the odds, resetting to get the most favorable drivers. It's really fun, and going for position and tactical gameplay. That's what I like the most. It's insane.
It's tough. If you have the time, you have the energy, you have the patience. I think boomboxing is one. Again, if it's a personality, really, really well. It's not for everybody, but if you have, it sounds like you're like, that's a perfect fit for you. Desiree, I appreciate you saying it, like, because I think I honestly, and I feel like I actually that fits my playing style really, really well, but I just can't do it all the time. And so like, if you limit it, and that's why I just have like Larry Me and PD Me, and that's it. That's the only boomboxing I do. Like, there's no other boomboxing in my account. And I think it's because of the Mies. And the Mies actually have helped me kind of restrict it. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I think it's, I'm like with you. Like, I think I was thinking someone in the ER server about, like, I want to boost up the Larry Me, but I don't want to have too much boombox, like go-to drivers, just because I don't want to have to do like, a gazillion boombox tracks. So I always try to, to even up again. On the positive side, I used to hate, doing the boombox stuff. It's like, oh, this sucks. But I've actually I'm like, wow, this is kind of, when it works, it's great. It's a wonderful feeling, but I couldn't do it for like 12 tracks. So I like to spread it out. I like using the Lucky 7. I like using the Giant Banana. I think it's just good to have for me personally, just to have a variety where you don't have to focus on just one skill.
I do think that the addition of all the Coinbox drivers have helped out the Boomerang drivers, meaning that
Yes.
by adding in Gold Luigi Knights, by adding
Yeah.
in all these Coinbox
Right,
drivers,
you're gonna have better you're gonna have better chance of good lobby. So yeah, bring that up. Yeah. But
I don't know. I feel like it's been more fun lately. I don't know if that's just me or not.
I did. I really enjoyed it last tour. Like I was like killing. Like wow, look at me, I'm boomboxing. Like, would never. I would have never. I mean, I've been on the show before. Like you tell me, like I told you, like I hate boomboxing, but like I was telling friendly ground, like I kind of like this. This is kind of good.
Well, boomboxing is so fun when you can get a lot. Like the second shelf has like 4 or 5 coin boxers in it, but it's like the worst thing in the world when you like open your account, you have a boomboxer as like your driver.
Yeah, it's like,
one coin box on the bottom, and it's like lucky if you get 2 in your lobby. Like that's just like the worst thing ever.
yeah.
Well, so for those who are new to the game, if you have a Coinbox driver, you don't want other Coinbox drivers in your lobby because they could open a single box while you are trying. That you could pull one. If they're holding one, you can't pull one.
Right.
That's the thing. So it's actually unfortunately hurting the Coinboxers because there's oftentimes where I'm like trying to get a lobby, like say with Daisy Circuit with Gold Me. I'm like, I just want a lobby where I don't have Daisy Tie Dress or Gold Dry Bones with their freaking coin box. I just want my own coin box.
Right. I'm like that with the giant banana too. Like, I feel
every time I load a Coinbox lobby and I'm driving a Coinbox and I get a bunch of coin boxes. I think there was a meme that I saw somebody post on Reddit. It was like, "Oops, all Coinbox," and it was like the Cap'n Crunch like "Oops, all berries" box, but it was like a screen of like all 7 bots were Coinbox drivers, and I'm like, man, there's too many now.
Well, that's where I'm starting to wonder. It's like, are they throwing too much plus killed stuff at us? Because like if there's only 3 of them.
There's no way. There's no going back on that.
No,
unless I think the ship is like halfway through the ocean.
Unless they come up with another like plus skill, which I couldn't think of, but I don't know.
Yeah. Before we move past like the me versus non-me situation, I do want to make sure Davey and Dojari have completely fleshed out all the thoughts. Anything else you guys want to mention about me's versus non-me's, how you're investing, Boombox versus Coinbox?
I did not buy yellow me suit, and it's really been hurting me a lot. However, now I have Morton and Wiggler me suit, so I really hoping that they pay off the same way.
Yeah,
I hope so too. I've invested in both of those guys pretty hard, and I've still had this bucket list item. By the way, my professional season our growth season has completed as of Tuesday. So potentially a top 10 run could be in the mix in the next couple months. We'll see. And Morton, I feel like Morton and Wiggler me, who I've taken to level 8 triple and capped already. I hope that if they're a big part of a mix, you'll see much more of me those tours. I'm really excited about that. Anything last you want to say, Davey, about me's versus non-me's?
Yeah, only thought I had, part of the reason I was kind of late to the me game was, if you're free to play or gold pass, you've only got a limited resource of rubies, and you can't neglect gliders and carts entirely in favor of just buying me's all the time. At least not. I don't think that's the optimal way to play if you're going for coverage. So.
Right.
My thought was just, if I'm spending 70 rubies or more on me's every single tour, that really limits the potential to buy carts and gliders when I need those. So that's just one other perspective on that.
Can I ask a legitimate question?
Yeah.
Okay, this is for the.
Those are my favorite, by the way.
Okay, this is for the me investors, because I'm always curious, like how is it possible that in the future, like Mario Kart could, because I'm half invested in me's, but like I'm more an original character one, right? So it's like, how in the future can Mario Kart do something to like level the playing field? So my question is, for the people who are invested in me's, would that completely like tick you guys off and make you guys mad if all of a sudden there was some type of game change where now all of a sudden these original characters are just as useful? Would you be bummed for going in the Mii's the way you have?
I think it would have to depend on like what that is, like whatever they do. But I really think they've crossed a bridge that really they can't go back on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the one thing I've noticed with Nintendo is, so like a lot of games, like online games, I know they'll do like what they call like buffing and nerfing. Well, they'll like nerfing is like taking power away from something in order to try to balance the game. Nintendo, at least in Mario Kart, I can't think of any time where they've like nerfed anything. They always try to buff something to like balance the game. So like the only thing that I could think that they could do in order to like take balance back from the Mii's would be to like introduce some additional skill or cap or some system on base characters only that would like overcompensate against the base points, like something that would only apply to original characters, that somehow it affects your score differently than what the current system is.
See that happening though? I mean, it's
no, I mean, I don't think that like I don't think, I mean, if they had like, you know, some crazy person, you know, crazy genius that really cares about the game running things, maybe, but like I don't think
It's not an intern
at
for,
this
I'll
point.
tell you that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So I guess my question was like, is really, because I'm with you on like the Mario Kart, I think does a great job at just buffing things versus nerfing things. And I think they have to, because of the players who have invested so much. If all of a sudden your dollar that you invested in the game is now like a horrible investment, like that's super shady, right? So if they, I guess the question is if they introduce something that buffs the other thing, and it doesn't necessarily nerf you, but doesn't make your investments as strong, like would that bum you guys out from a financial standpoint?
Well, I think the only thing that they could, well, I don't know if the only, I think if they eventually cap the Mii's, like they say, okay, this is the last Mii, and then no more after that. I don't know how, then I don't even think that would be a whole lot to do to even the playing field between the Mii's and the non-Mii's. But like if you're looking at this game to continue for another 3 years, if you have another 3 years of no more Mii's and then just new drivers, maybe, I don't know.
I will say when I this morning when I opened up, for those of you watching this live, yesterday morning, when I opened up the video of the Mii's, you know, they show you the Mii for next tour, and then there's like a pause, and I'm like, what if they didn't show like a next Mii, like a Mii that's like, and then of course they always have a double Mii with like that are looks blacked out. You're just like, this thing isn't stopping. But like, there's a part of me that's like, I wonder if they were to stop this, like, what would happen? How would it, like, how would this impact the game? How would I react as a content creator to like them not coming out with the next Mii? But like, it just keeps coming and just keeps coming and just keeps coming. It's almost as if they like really want. And there's sometimes where there's like 2 Mii's, you're like, wow, you could have just came out with one.
I mean,
right.
At what point does it become like an onion reel where it's like Mii suit and like this panel scans and it's like wave 999?
Yeah,
like
I mean,
like it's at, we're at 40. Like it's scanned, I was like 4, like no wait, 38 I think is where we're at. Like
when is it
like,
out of control?
I don't know.
I mean, this is the thing. And then what I would do is I would cap the Mii's, and then I would do the same agenda with the carts and then the gliders.
So we're just okay. I was saying. So you're basically saying like just leave it to be, and then just like let the Mii suits just sit there and simmer, and then do the same thing with the carts.
Exactly.
Where they were now
That's
cart waves.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
I mean,
that's
interesting. They could do that.
Could.
I mean, they couldn't.
I mean, that's a whole long shot. But I'm like,
a big shake.
Yeah, that could shake
if
things
you're
up.
looking at, like,
I mean, they could make
you're
the
raking in
balloons.
money for this game, and you want to kind of continue that trend, cap the Mii's, and then let's focus on the carts and do the carts.
Well, because I think what it would do is it would establish confidence in the community to invest in those carts that they somehow came out with that way. And it'd be tough because it wouldn't be like the drivers have always been treated differently than the carts and the gliders. So it'd be interesting to see how they did that. And there's that aspect.
Because there's like 3 times as many carts and gliders as drivers or something.
Well, but then there's also drivers are twice the points of a cart or twice the points of a glider or equal to a driver plus glider. So how would carts be treated different? And I think that'd be spicy. It'd be cool, fun for us to interact with.
Let's say there's 40 me suits. Well, there's quote 80 cart me suits or something. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't mean to.
You want your face on a card is what I think what you're trying to say.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I mean, here's the thing: is that's what's great about this game is it's keeping us on our toes. But honestly, that's part of as a content creator. I'm can you imagine what if they just there's no new wave, we're stopping at 38 or whatever. My heart sinks every time that happens. But then they come out with 2 new ones. I'm oh, 2 in a wave. Wow. Okay. All right. So so the me suits are not going away. I don't know. They're going to continue to bring out these, it seems like some of the new drivers. But here's the thing is we've now had 2 tours, this tour and it looks like next tour, where we won't have a plus skill new driver. Now, if you remember last summer was absolutely bonkers, kind of similar to the first part of this summer. What do you guys think about as the rest of the summer comes on? Do you think there could be a trend to this game where they're coming out with 1 new track and no new high-end non-me driver? And that's kind of how they're doing it during the summer to be a calm before the storm. What do you guys think is going on?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to happen. I will credit Frenzy Fanboy. I love you. I think they're kind of focusing on trying to get us to go in on one of these newer drivers to take us on them. And so maybe, with Wiggler being that last, and I don't know if it's the last, but the most recent new high-end non-me, I think it's going to really, if they keep doing that trend of, you're going to have, for rank specifically, you're going to have to make everyone go in on one of them. And, might be another one, but I think.
And they love putting giant banana drivers in city tracks.
Yes.
So the first time these giant banana drivers see these city tracks, they're going to gobble up a lot of tracks.
Yes, I will always say, where I remember when when Toad Astronaut came out, and it's is this really going to be useful now with all these me's? And I think Jedi went in on it, and I'm really, you're going to do this? And I keep going back to him, he's in ranked again, you idiot, you. I call him so much names, I should have done this. Yeah. So that's the one driver, and as much as I hated Boomerang at the time, that's the one driver that I've regretted so much on not going in on. So, yeah.
So one of the things, hypothetically, I've been thinking about in the back of my head for a long time. This is a deep down Friends Fangirl wish list thing that I want to have happen, but I don't know how. One of the reasons why I asked you guys if you guys would be upset is because I don't know if this would upset you guys or not. But I think it'd be amazing. Okay, so they announce me's. They start dripping me's slowly into not slowly, quickly into the game, but 1 or 2 at a time, right? When me's officially have as many characters in the game as originals, what if they do something for us? They make a huge announcement where they're saying all the tracks that are currently established, that's great, everybody has those buffs, but then all future tracks that get released, it's either an original character track or a me character track. So that way, several times throughout ACR, you're not going to have a chance to use a high-end me, or you're not going to be able to have a chance to use a high-end original character. And you have to kind of then the bucket split, right? If you have a ranked race where it's a me course, an original character course, and you have to invest both.
So they're segregating it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of
interesting. That's interesting. Honestly, they're kind of low-key doing that with some of these older tracks. If you think about I was trying to, for All Cup ranking, I'm doing some of these Daisy Hills, and all these tracks there's no Mii's on them. Like I'm using Funky Kong on one of the Cheap Islands. I'm using, I think Hall of Daisy on one of these Daisy Hills. Like I'm forced, even though I'm all invested in Mii's, like they have still restricted some of these older tracks.
The original cheap Lagoon, I think I'm using the Super Driver.
Are you? They're like
Yeah.
Rosalina or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm using Funky because I had them at level 8. But I think I was using like they suggested Rosalina. But yeah, to that point, like maybe they're kind of like low-key keeping these older tracks segregated, I don't know if I'm not allowed to use that word, but like, allowing the non-me drivers have the older tracks and just kind of like excluding them and just kind of like blocking them off, and then letting the Mii's get the newer tracks. I mean, do you think that's one way to solve or kind of do the same thing you're talking about, Prince Fangirl?
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, how do we, because one of my frustrations, like, it's my own misunderstanding of the game from the get-go, because for me, I didn't want to invest in Mii's right off the bat because I like the original characters better, right? And when they first made the announcement of Mii's, like my brain didn't comprehend that it was truly unlimited, the base points that a Mii could get. I was like, for sure they're going to cap it at some point in time. Maybe it's like the 8th Mii suit or whatever, Now it's unlimited. So the thing is I'm sitting there, and I think a lot of the player base is sitting there, and we've talked about this a lot this episode, but saying like, maybe one day I'll be able to catch up, but I'm pretty much gold pass only right now. I'll buy commemorative stuff, but like, there's no way I can just go in on all the Mii's right now, right? So I feel like as a tier 99 player now, I'm like perpetually stuck in like second place. It's not worth investments for me to get into first. And every single rank, I have someone in my tier who's blowing me out of the water. And then I'm always very comfortably in second. And so my thing is like, how for me, like logistically, like I'm not going to spend more money in this game than I want to spend in this game, but I've been around for so long. I love to keep playing. So the thought is like, how does this ever get balanced? And if there were if in ranked or ACR, or whatever we're going for, if like each cup had a Mii rate, like, or a Mii track, an original track, and then like a mixed track, like that would just be fun because it would mix up the strategy a bunch. Like we could all show up with what we're passionate about, but then we have to acknowledge the other part of the game to an extent. Like I just think that would be fun and like spice it up enough, but I don't know if that would like completely just piss off, excuse me, sorry. I don't know if that would make sorry, Studfit. I don't know if that would make
I don't think it's a curse word.
the whales mad, like the Mii meta mad.
Yeah.
I just enjoy the meta because it's the meta. It doesn't matter what it is. Like I'm not passionate about Mii's. I'm passionate like I just play it because it's part of the game, and like that's like I like the strategy and thinking about it. So like you could swap out for whatever it is. Like if it was balloons were the new meta, like the battle balloons, like then I'd be trying to figure out how to get the best loadout with the balloon. Like it doesn't matter what it is to me personally. So
the way I see it, if you want to be completely honest, and this might rub a couple people the wrong way, is like for lunch, I would love to have pizza every day. Like I would love to have pizza for lunch every day, like 3 or 4 slices of pizza. That sounds great, but that's like 800, 900 calories. I can't have pizza every day for lunch. Like so, I have a salad for lunch, and I have like a nice dinner for dinner. Like because I realize that like what I want is not always what I need. Like the my personal satisfaction in the game is not going to lead, and it kind of goes back to that triangle that we talked about, where it's just like the triangle of fun, points, and time. Those are the 3 like criteria that we play the game. And so like, yeah, would it be fun to eat pizza every day? For sure, it would be absolute blast. I have so much fun. But those are my college days where my metabolism was way better, and like I just can't have pizza every day for lunch. So like for me, it's like I have to take into consideration other things other than just my personal joy and like how much I like something, or like how much like flavor. Like I don't know, to me, like I have to be responsible. And for me, and I think that a lot of that has to do with like, hey, I don't have a lot of time, so like I got to get like some Mii's. I have, if I get it like a quick giant banana frenzy, coin frenzy, I'm done with the track. like I'm loving this game and I'm enjoying this game. And some people get burnt out on this game. And I hear all the time, people are like, man, I just can't keep playing this game. It's like, I'm so burnt out. I'm like, oh, that's because you're boomboxing every track. Oh yeah. Like, yeah, I've basically invested in all the boombox drivers because that's the best in the meta. Well, all right, well, you have to find your balance. And I think everyone has to realize, where they fit on that triangle, what they want to invest in, like what brings them joy, what brings them that fun on that top triangle, what brings them, what allows them to be able to score the highest points, and what is able to be the most time efficient. So I do think you can't have your cake and eat it too. You have to have the salad and the cake, and sometimes the salad, sometimes the other items, the broccoli that you don't want to eat, but you have to eat it because it will produce the most points.
Well,
Does that hit home at all, or does that annoy everybody?
Respect, dog.
Yeah, I will add that. I mean, I think a lot of people, I think most of, and I'm guilty of this. Is like you always want to reach quote the promised land. I've heard that a lot. You want because like you want to get to a point where you've reached the peak, and then you don't want to have to worry about whatever it is you have to do. I think this game really just kind of keeps you thinking, and I think that's good. In terms for me, I'd never, I'm kind of like this, I'm, with these last couple of tours, it's been kind of like, but like, I still get up, I still get up and play the game. I still try to, get my daily coins. I still get the, still, play some tracks. I do not play them. I do not and I said earlier, like I'm playing them like I used to. I'm not quote grinding them. Because like it's just that's and I think right for me right now it's just a little too much. But like I've always said, and I've told this to other people, like I still love the game. I still love to play the game. I just don't. I'm not as hardcore like quote grinding as what I try to do. But I think what's good is that I don't think there will ever be like a promised land. And I've said this before many times. This game is like professional wrestling. You're never going to be satisfied with the outcome. They want to keep a story going, and they want to kind of continue to keep your interest, to keep you playing. And it's just like professional. They're going to take you where you can get just there, and then they're going to take it away, and you're going to want more no matter what. And I think that's good.
It's a good analogy for life.
Say what?
I was gonna say, I think it's a good analogy for life. It's all about the journey, right? Like it's not necessarily about.
And yeah, I mean, and that is incredibly important, Frenzy Fangirl, because I've met so many people, and I'm so grateful for it, that have come and gone in the game. Some of the friends that I've made through this game, like you guys, and God Mode and Jedi and Studfit, I mean, just that you can't take away from. Natalie is one, and and there's people that have come and gone, and those are the stories that you just can't take away, and
I totally cut off Davey. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I was just going to say that this game, they never want you to reach the promised land. They just want to keep adding more courses that you just need to keep getting new stuff to cover.
Yeah.
Well, that too. I mean, like, it is a business.
Like everybody's promised land changes though. Like, so I used to play and I would grind and I would fire every token pipe. And in game at the end, it was like how many hours you played. A lot of that was auto mode. A lot of that was sitting, in between phone calls, and I left the game open for an hour and I wasn't playing. But like it'd be like game time, 80 hours for a tour or something. I'm like, that's a lot. That's crazy. I didn't feel like I played 80 hours. So like last tour, it was game time like 14 hours, and it was like I finished like 8 of the tracks on the last day. I went into multiplayer in the last hour and was like trying to like get like I just play less now, and I found that like healthy balance for me where I'm at. And I don't know, it's an enjoyable game if you let it be enjoyable. If you treat it as a profession, I can't imagine getting much enjoyment out of it.
No.
Well,
But
if you want to reach the promised land, go play a console game. Like
Well, I think
there's
the
plenty
thing
of
is,
Mario
yeah.
Kart
Yeah.
console games out there where you don't have to invest and stress and you can
Mhm.
just sign on and win. Like it's great.
Joe's
I
right.
love the stress.
You like the stress?
You
That's
like the
awesome.
stress,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the pressure,
However,
right?
I'm terrified about level 9. I used max last week my
Oh,
first
no.
shop category. I max for the first time the gliders, and now I'm getting the tickets, the super tickets,
Yep.
and I really like them. Before I was thinking about which super item to buy from the shop, but now I can just choose to buy the ticket, and it's more fast. And also the leftover tickets that I now have, the gliders, if level 9 is not gonna come, I wish we had the option to like convert them.
Yeah.
For
yeah.
example, 5 normal tickets for 1 super. I think it will be really helpful for some people.
I love that.
That's a
yeah,
great idea.
I think that's been we've
That's
had to
another-
talk. That's had to have been a Kart Talk topic at some
I
point. I feel like I've had that discussion.
remember having that discussion.
I love that idea. Like that's
Great
an awesome
job.
idea.
Like where you can
Great,
trade
great
your
idea.
stuff in.
So we're now about 2 hours into the episode, which is absolutely crazy. But like we didn't really get to too much of the tour, which is totally fine because I like this is kind of a not a forgettable tour, but like it's a relaxation tour. Like I was struggling to find some questions to like throw in here, but I will say we had one question submitted from one of our members, Sana, aka SMG, submitted her question. So I do want to touch on that question. I want to make sure that every question submitted into our channel's Slack or the Discord channel is touched on to some extent. So I do want to, SMG had 2 different questions. The first question is, what are you guys' thoughts on Nintendo starting to add city tracks with normal tracks? So we have Daisy Circuit and Baby Park, together with New Nitro and Athens and Paris and Bangkok next tour. Does that hinder any investments for this current tour items, or especially now that we see that it's not a one-time occurrence? How do you feel about the mixed cities versus new versus Nitro? I mean, are we going to get to the point where we're no longer differentiating the between the assumed tracks and city tracks?
I hope
I really
so.
like it. The fact that we're gonna get many cities together, I think it's gonna be more enjoyable, because in the past, when we get one city and many variants, I think I don't get to enjoy them, every one of them, so much, because now that's been happening that we get less, I can enjoy them more. I can drive and feel like it's something new every time. For many variants, it get a bit repetitive for me.
You don't enjoy 16 variants of Tokyo Boy?
I will say the Mark IIs have become more valuable here recently. The Sky Blues has been like bonkers for me. Just like it has been absolutely dead for like a whole year. And then just like this summer, just for whatever reason, it's been super useful because of all the cities between Sydney being back. And like, I don't know, man, it's been kind of fun.
Mhm.
I love the sprinkle. I love the sprinkles. Like when
Yeah.
they sprinkle the cities in, it is fun. Like you get to use some items that you don't get to use that often, or you're used to like only getting to use for the city tour. You know, like that's fun. Like I enjoy the variety.
Yeah, I mean, I always like when you know, I mean, I would like when the sprinkle. I would hope it, one makes the things that you invested in that maybe didn't turn out well because you invested in a city tour more valuable. But I also would like it to encourage them to make more city tracks, new city tracks. Every time I see stuff with a city coming through, I'm like, oh great, I get to use my paint stir again, and I get to use my flying easel and stuff. So because those are like my two favorite things, and they will always be. So I hope I kind of see more of that. Again, I mean, it's all about your preference, I think.
I'm excited for it. I think this is what like how the game was supposed to be. I think with the
Amen.
game being released and then this unprecedented COVID thing happened that we all seem to forget was a huge part of this game. But like, I think this game got released a lot slower than they originally intended to, and I'm excited to kind of finally see it reaching its potential and what it really wants to be, which is like it's Mario Kart Tour, right? That's why we play. Like we want to sign in and we want to go to Sydney and we want to go to Vancouver and we want to go to Chile eventually. You know what I mean? Like I'm excited.
Yes, let's go.
Mhm. Yeah, those
My
those,
card.
Create a
those,
ticket. Write a ticket right now. Let's go to Chile. Let's go.
those remix courses, I think they were just an act of desperation back then.
Well, I think it's one of the reasons why so many people are saying like, let's not use the word filler tour anymore, because like 2023, like they're going out of their way to make sure that we're getting something new. I really do hope that like we don't like even right now, like we had a conversation this past week with Larry and Antelab and some other key parts of the community. It's like, should we right now we're getting rid of Nitro. Like right now we have assumed tracks which include the Nitro and this and like the retro together. And we're getting rid of Nitro because it does seem like with the Prom Plants, like and whatever else, even though we haven't seen, Sunday,
Right, we
Sky
haven't seen the
Sunday, and Mary
Sunday
Mountain. I know. I'm with
Where
you.
is it?
Can we go back to the?
Guys. I'm with you guys.
Can we go
Here's the
back?
thing
Do you
with,
guys
like,
have a name for that group? Is that like the Jedi Council? That if you guys meet and decide these things?
there might be some decapitation, some lightsabers cutting off people's heads, but no, I mean, like it's tough, right? My ultimate hope would be that one day we get to a point where there's no discrimination between retros, nitros, cities. That's what I want to get to. It looks like we're heading that direction. And it would be phenomenal because I would love to just get rid of all those categories, because I think I will say in the same tongue in cheek, like there is that aspect of us. We want to cross something off. We do want to subcategorize things so we can think about things in a smaller suitcase versus like all of everything we own. And I think there is some parts that we do want to compartmentalize that. And like a good example would be like for drivers, like on like our spreadsheets and stuff, we show just the top skill drivers. And for hitboxes, we just show the large or above hitboxes. And for gliders, we just show everything. So right now we're like, well, what if we just show the top 50 gliders in that section? We're already trying to like compartmentalize or like make a group smaller for gliders, even though the gliders are basically all the same. So like we're already thinking about things that way. And so to like open things up seems like the exact opposite of what we want to do mentally. And just like because our brain can't fully understand everything that's going on in the world of Mario Kart Tour. But I think honestly, if Nintendo did that, that would change the game. And I think, we're always looking for a game changer. We're always looking for something that Nintendo will keep us on our toes. That would keep us on our toes. But this is the question that I'm turning to you guys, could it overwhelm us? If a situation where we had this honest question, like what if we had a situation where we had every tour, like out of the 45 tracks, we had, 15 to 20 of them retros, 15 to 20 of them nitros, maybe 10 nitros, and then, 15 to 20 of them are cities. Like, how would you, like, would that overwhelm you? Could that cause players to quit the game? Could that actually be a deterrent?
I think everything overwhelms us.
Yeah.
I think it would cause more people to invest more ACR wise instead of like the rank. I don't know.
More or less.
More for ACR, because if they're gonna because if they're gonna throw in more nitro, you're gonna pay attention to those more.
I don't think you'll see more people investing in ACR though until they release like a top 10,000 ACR badge. Like it's way too populated right now with established accounts.
Maybe, I guess. I don't.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, like top 100 is pretty easy for me. I'm trying I might change the name to just top 99 because I'm always going to be in the top 100. So there's only going to be 99 spots left over for everyone else. So I feel bad. Like, I don't know, because it's become easier and easier for me to get top 100. So I feel like bad for people who actually like, this is what they want to achieve, because it does favor the whales. It does favor those players who have been playing for a long time, who have like, you know, the toad, what is it? The toad that's got like the party hat, party time, toad. Yeah, like I have him a level not 8, and like I shouldn't. No one should have him at level 8. But like, but somebody's been playing some state like basically early on.
You just like the party.
Well, I do like the party. So that's honestly, he's probably my spirit character, low key. But no, I mean, like would that cause if we were to get cities intermixed, like. I think I honestly, as a whale, I would actually appreciate that. I would enjoy it. But could it deter people? Could it make it too complex? You're like, I already was trying to find a way to like think about things in a smaller box.
I could envision it going to like, if they're gonna sprinkle cities in with nitros and retros all, and that's the same. It could be like year 1 tracks, year 2 tracks, year 3 tracks, where your loadouts are different. Like you were going back to like cheap lagoon, like all those drivers that are top shelf are not relevant drivers for year 3 tracks. So I could see it like more like that. But I mean, if it starts sprinkle, I would enjoy it though. Like I would like seeing, you know, one variant of the Amsterdam or, you know, Paris, not like all 7 or, you know, 8 variants of all European cities in one tour. Like that's too much for me. But like one Paris track in the Bowser tour or whatever, that like I would be okay with that.
I wonder if we don't get to the point though where, as much as I love trackers, they become the amount of tracks in the game right now is so large that I'm not sure if it's actually a good metric to show value for the items. We're going to get to a point where some of these drivers, I mean, we're already past like 50 tracks for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 drivers have like 50 tracks. What if we get to like 100, 125, 150 tracks for like a driver, but only about 10 of them have actually been used?
Well, I think your metric is gonna be on used. Okay, it has 100 tracks, but it has 50 tracks that are in the past year and a half.
I mean, like every account has irrelevant items at some point, like based on upgrades you've made, like, and you can test this on your own account, like even probably if you're a 30-week-old account, like if you do like a, what is it, like not the clear the cache or whatever, when your game crashes and it puts all your items as new, and then like see what items stay as new, like when you are scrolling through top shelf or middle shelf, and you're like, oh, look at all these items that are marked as new, but I have it level 7 or level 6, you know, like they're old. I mean, you never use them anymore.
So that's what I'm saying is, I wonder if with trackers, we begin to treat it more as like a tour by tour thing, where we need to look at what our inventories are for that particular tour. And we don't take a look at our happy ride that happens to be 7-3 and quote unquote our 12th best cart in the game, because it has 40 some odd tracks that you would use them if they came up, but they don't. So is it really our 12th best cart?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to have to be tour specific,
right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm getting at, is I wonder if we get to the point where there's so many tracks and so much information in these trackers that now looking at the 125, yeah, it has 125 tracks, but it doesn't really give you 125 tracks worth of value.
Right.
You have to look at it more a tour by tour thing, because there's so much
you have
to
to
cover.
start like toggling like relevancy and like when it was debuted, and like you can put different way. I mean, it's stuff that I think that Antela like looks at for his
Some of the ticket
tier
time
list stuff.
apparently does this too, but
Yeah.
I don't think anything actually handles what you're talking about.
No.
So here's the thing that I've
Yearly?
noticed that I've been doing though lately is I look less at all of the tracks. So there's a column where you can filter it for everything that's there, an A for ACR, an R1 for ranked 1, R2 for ranked 2. I've noticed for the past several months that whenever I use a tracker, I'll turn off the blanks and I'll just look at what's going on for that tour. Right? Like I don't care if Toadette Sailor has 51 tracks. If I turn off all the blanks and I see she only has one track for the entire tour, 2 tracks for the entire tour, she doesn't help me out. I'm gonna focus on the items that show up 10 to 15 times for that one tour.
Right. This is the argument of like saving all your tickets and then going all in on just one tour.
Which a lot of players who go for top
of people
10,
do that.
they save like 50, 60 tickets and then just go all in on one
Right.
tour. And because they can just limit it to those,
Sure.
drivers,
Those
because
stretch,
it's
exactly.
impossible to have just like a regular standing account that's just regular ready to go.
Right.
I have 300 normal tickets ready to go for my top 10 run.
Normal tickets. Got
Yeah.
it. Okay. All right. Got it. And there's one last question from Sada. Sorry there's no segue for this, but are we sure that it's the blooper suit in the Me trailer? Any other speculations? How confident are we that this is the blooper Me suit?
I feel like it looks like a cat me suit.
Kind of look catty too, but we already
Yeah, it has,
have
like, little-
We
one.
already have one.
So we have so many other cats in
Is
the
it gonna be a
game.
mouse?
Would anybody be surprised
Black
if they
cat
released the
suit?
cat one and they just put like in parentheses the number 2 or something?
No, it'll be the
Intern
blue cat
4.
suit,
Like
the
when
green
you
cat
save a
suit.
document a second time and it
Yeah.
just puts a Yeah.
Copy of cat.
No, they got all the different colors. You got a green cat suit, a blue cat suit, me suit, a yellow me cat suit, a fuchsia
Oh
me
my
cat me suit.
gosh.
A meowser.
No.
me?
You guys are demented. That would be too much.
I think Sammy
Cat
he
food.
tweeted someone that on Twitter that it could be a ninja from Super Mario 2, but that's the only thing that is maybe resembles, but I would say I'm 95% sure it's the blooper.
What skill do you think it would have?
Well, if it's a blooper suit, probably the blooper skill.
No, but that's not a skill
It's
though.
a glider
That's,
skill.
I mean, I would think maybe Lucky
that's an
Seven.
item box skill.
Lucky
That'd be
Seven?
great. It'd be great if they introduced it as a skill for a driver. But yeah, that's a good point.
So
Maybe
what would the
Lucky Seven
blooper
then.
plus skill be at level 4?
Just extra bloopage.
Extra bloopage.
The ink blots are bigger.
More bloopage.
Yeah, it's like it
More
takes
bloopage.
8 seconds and like 15 other miscues before it wipes away. No, I like you guys. All right, guys, we're at 2 hours. I'm glad we got through the one question we got submitted through our users. But as always, I appreciate the super studs joining us, both Jeeves and Frenzy fans. Also getting blah blah blah. Join us as always. That's always good to hear your perspective. You always bring in great content. And then also Davey and Dojari, you guys brought in some very unique aspects. I appreciate you guys all joining us. So what we'll do is we'll do reverse order, and I'll let you guys say goodbye to your fans. And typically we had something else fun, but we're already at time. So we'll let you guys say goodbye to your fans. Anything else you want to say? Maybe some shout outs to some parts of the community that may not get as much shout outs. So appreciate like everyone being able to join us. Again, it's a Friday night. It's middle of the summer. Some of us heading out into vacation, Frenzy fans, myself as well, next tour. So I'll start with you, Jojari. What would you like to say to some of your fans? Any shout outs you want to make to the community? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. We need more. We need more tracks for Gold Pity. Please
Gold
give
Pity.
more tracks to Gold Pity and some good ones, please.
Have them show
And
up in ranked.
And Penguin Luigi, he still has the new tag for me. I'm really sad about it.
Well, hopefully in the because I think Gold PD kind of came out in this like Halloween-ish area, and he kind of got some gold Ghost Valley and stuff. I think he will be more valuable here in a month or two when we get to October. But I'm with you. I do wish that they gave more love. I hope that Gold Luigi Knight does not get the same shame that Gold PD got, because I think Gold PD with that big hitbox, like he could have been awesome. And unfortunately, Nintendo kind of kept him, at bay. It kind of kept some of his. They buffed him a little bit, gave him some unique buffs, but they could have went all out. And I'm with you. I wish they would have buffed him more. Hopefully, they will kind of give him some more additional buffs here in the fall. But yeah, great point there, Davey, man. What would you like to say? What kind of thank yous do you have for your community? What kind of shout outs for those people who have supported you as you've been journeying along?
Yeah, so lots of thanks to you, Studfit, for having me on here. Long time watcher, glad to be part of this, and it's good being on with Jeeves and Frenzy fans. Long time watcher, both of you. So good to meet you finally. Bob blah blah, good seeing you as well. So I don't think I have any fans out there, but hoping to yeah. I'll try to be a little more active on the Discords out there. That's kind of been a hurdle for me, but yeah, really glad to be a part of this tonight and part of the community. Yeah, I'm hoping the game will continue to give us new courses, but maybe at a little bit slower pace in the future, give us a chance to catch up a little bit.
Such an amazing community. I really like it. Amazing community. Shout outs to everyone here. Thank you. It's been really good, and I'm enjoying my time here a lot.
That is awesome. That's awesome. While I'm listening to this, I'll see if I can gift some members, because this is like one of those things where it's like the community is everything, like this is a fun game. I enjoy it every time I open it up, every time I start a race. Like I really enjoy it, but like it's you guys, it's everyone who's watching this that gets me super excited, that keeps me going into this game. So I'm with you, Doshri, Davey, appreciate you guys saying that. Like that does mean a lot. And thank you to those who are watching. Like you could be doing a lot of different things, but like we have a lot of fun. We talk about some goofy stuff. We didn't talk about any double deckers, so don't worry. But like we talk about some goofy stuff. We also talk about some things that like are on our mind. So hopefully just by hearing it, like it helps you out. In worst case scenario, it's entertaining, as that's all we can ask for. So with that being said, blah blah blah, appreciate you joining. I know you had some other family obligations, which are always the top priority. And I think no matter, I sometimes even like if I'm having a frustrating run and like maybe I got like a double coin box and then got nothing, or got like blue shelled, and like then all of a sudden my son walks in the room. Like it does take, I do have to remind myself it's just a game. Like I can swipe up and just say, hey, you know what, it's okay. Like, oh yeah, not the end of the world. We've all been there. This is just a game. We're here for the community, but at the end of the day, like family comes first. Out at the end, like no matter what happens, always show love to those who are present in our lives. And so no problem whatsoever for blah blah blah, you being able to show up late because you were spending time with your family. I appreciate you taking some time for us, but more importantly, I thank you for prioritizing your family. That shows great example to many people out there. But thank you for joining us, and thanks. What would you like to say to your fans, and shout out to some of your support?
I appreciate that. Yeah, my family always comes first, and I think that everyone here would have appreciated me waiting to join, because if I was down here while I was trying to get my kids to sleep upstairs, they would have been down here and climbing all over the walls and everything. So it would have been like a no go no. So no, it would have been fun, but I do appreciate that. And thank you for accommodating. But no, it's been great. I enjoy the discussion as always, and Studfit, I enjoy, appreciate you kind of keeping the community glued together and always staying positive. So I just, salute.
Any shout outs to the PD fan?
Yeah, of course, always shout outs to my Donnies, but that's about it.
All right,
Thanks
good.
for having me on.
Absolute pleasure having you, man. Jeeves, what shout outs do you have for your? I know you've already made a couple of shout outs, so maybe.
Yeah, I
unique.
I want to, shout out to ER, my homies, God Mode, Frenzy Grind, and Jedi. We're all just kind of chilling right now, which is kind of cool, and I'm sure things will pick up, but that's kind of my core, if I want to strategize and keep me sane on what to do. I want to say hi to Natalie. She's not playing the game much, but I always like to keep in touch with her. I think the only thing that I'd like to say though is, with all this discussion we have, I do want to reiterate, it is just a game, and I see a lot of people recently being like, "What should I put tickets in?" Because like there's just so much out there, and I want to just reiterate, do what you want. I mean, it's not the end of the world if it doesn't work out. There will be something else. I see so many people just going back and forth, and I can tell it's really stressing them out, and just do something if you want to, if you're just passionate about something because it maybe aesthetically looks nice or it's your favorite character, go for it. No one's gonna, if people are gonna criticize you about it, then they're not your friend, and it is a game. So I go through a lot of those where especially with being a whale, like I will do things that if I think that it looks cool, I'm like, oh, I'll do it. And if it doesn't work out, okay, there will be something else. So I would really hope people don't pressure themselves so much on decisions like these. I mean, I know it's an investment kind of thing, but it's really not the end of the world. And I think a lot of people will respect you for going in on something that you're passionate about, no matter if it's aesthetically or it's a character you like. I mean, so yeah.
Actually, no, I appreciate you sharing that, Jeeves. And like I was thinking about like when we think about our triangle of like, joy versus meta versus like what's gonna like when I make investments, I make it either for something that I love or something that is meta or something that fills gaps in my account. Those are the three reasons I make investments, period. And what brings me joy is the things that are the most awesome looking. And so like I've invested in the Shield Speedsters, both not just the original, but also the gold and the black. Both all of them are level 8s and at least triple capped. And so those are my favorite. And you know what actually I like more than the meta are the ones that fill the gaps. So I've been using like the flowery badwagon when all things equal over something that's like meta because it filled gaps. And so to me, it's like, so it's almost like that Destiny has created this item for me because it filled so many gaps. Right. And like to me, it's like that actually brings me more joy than using something that everyone else is using.
Yeah, and like if you go with like a little bit, if you sprinkle a little bit of that zig while other people zag, I think when there is that one track where it's there and there's no one else can have that's pretty cool. I think like I really felt like that with the Painster and my Flying Easel. I mean, it's what?
I was going to say my project cart like that right now is the Gold Lunar Cruiser.
Yeah, I mean,
it is like okay, so it was like I think it was a ranked reward for a second week of a tour that it was in. So you could play it in the tour you got it in for 1 hour.
Yeah.
But that one cart has picked up a lot of these weird like evil Antilev tracks where like they've algorithmed it with like I've noticed. So like I'm like, wow, that Gold Lunar Cruiser, it's level 1, but there's all these other ones that are level 1. And then it's like the next tour, it's like, wow, that Gold Lunar Cruiser level 1, there's all these other ones level 1. But the Gold Lunar Cruiser for me, I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I like spent all my tickets down and I can only take it to level 7 right now. So like that's my project. And like it's gonna be my fun cart that like I'm just gonna ride.
You always
it.
have that one that's kind of out there. Like mine is that Painter. I always, when I talk to them, she's got the sweet ride at like 8 quad because I think she used it like for her first top 10. I'm like, that's just cool, because like it's just there, like, and it's
different. Yeah,
it's different, and I call that like the Natalie card because like every time I see it, because like that's just it's in a place where like I don't really have much there, but she's got an A quad, and like that's my paintster. And I was like, oh, here's a track. I get to use my paintster. I get to use my flying.
You know what? It kind of is like I felt this way about a band that I really liked that became really popular, and I was like, that was my like band that no one else liked. Like now that they've like hit mainstream, like I'm kind of sad. Like that was my band. Now I have to find like a new band that's like really cool that no one else likes because now everyone likes that band. So it's kind of the same thing. Like the Shield Speedster was like my cart because I was like, this hit the meta, and like now all the Shield Speedsters are my carts, and I'm like, but like everyone else has kind of jumped on that bandwagon. So it's like that cart is cool.
Yeah.
Wait, who was the band?
No,
it's the band.
No one's jumped on my paintster bandwagon yet.
Yeah, you're all by yourself with that easel, bro. Enjoy that by yourself. Friends and fans, guys and gal, thank you again for so much support. Again, you've been a supporter from day one 2 years ago, once we hit monetization or whatever. But I appreciate all of your support, and thanks again for joining. Thanks for taking time before your vacation to join us as well. What would you say would be some shout outs you have for your community, and what would you like to say before you head out?
I'll go first.
Yeah, just a big shout out to Stud Guy. We really appreciate you always being so nice and reaching out to us every week. We feel bad that, a lot of times schedules don't match up, but we're grateful when we do, when we are able to. And just it's super fun. I think the thing that we enjoy the most, get most out of Mario Kart is our end of the tour stream, like live streams, and
our stress streams,
opening up the tour live streams, and just like all the fun. Like we got people from all over the world. That's like, wow, we got people in Australia, we got people in Europe, we got people like all over the States, and it's just fun to be able to meet a bunch of just really high class people. So
can I just say, like, I'm so glad that you guys have owned that, because like I feel like that's such a cool moment in the game. Like when I opened the game, like 6 hours or 7 hours in, like most people have figured out most stuff, but like you guys have like really tapped into like the raw emotions. And so sometimes I go back and like watch you guys. Just sometimes I'll skip it to the moment where you guys like watch the reaction. Just like it is pure joy. Like it is the Christmas moment of Santa coming down the chimney, like of you guys experiencing that. So I'm glad you guys have like that's your niche when it comes to like reactions. And I'm so glad somebody in this community has like tapped into that, because it is such a moment. So thank you guys. You guys have done such a good job with that.
it really helps living in mountain time zone. So, at midnight instead of 2 a.m. We used to do it, but not nearly as much when we were living on the East Coast. But it's so much easier now that reset happens at midnight. So
in addition to our awesome community and all the people who support us, like Jeeves and our Frenzy family and Frenzy friend members, I'd like to shout out all the content creators, because the community is amazing. Like the community is amazing, but I think, and take us out of it, like I'm just a hot mess on all of our streams. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time, but like people who actually bring value to the game, like Studfit, and you got Kart Life, and you got Draco and Matt Aldridge and Carlos and all the people who create cool content and create great tools. Like you guys have made the community what it is, and I think it just makes the game even more fun and elevates our ability to enjoy it. So I'm grateful for all you guys.
That's a good point. I'm glad that YouTube has created this opportunity for some of us peasants to create these YouTube channels, and like, I don't know, it's kind of like fun, like watching like back in the 90s, like you had to like be a robot and just like what everyone else liked, because there were like 10 channels that you could watch, and like that's what everyone else watched. So it's like it's really cool that we have this opportunity for us to be able to create content for this small little video game that we really enjoy. But yeah, great point there. Frenzy Fan Guy, would you like to send us off?
Absolutely. Well, thanks everyone for joining us on this very first episode of season 3. And until episode 2 of season 3, may the frenzies be forever in your favor.
See you later.
Me's rule.
Gee.